Children's Hospital Association, children may present asymptomatically or not always show typical symptoms seen in adults, and many schools have cut the number of in-person classes to reduce transmission rates.
Fox's Lillian Wu. France just becoming the first European country to top 2 million cases in the Reuters tally. America is listening to Fox News.
Iran kaçaman mepet COVID-19 o sawasa tarela komung menempam kan ho mamaka. Makomkon makomagis sa uma menlaw de ko seli o mimichani. Makapam makomagis an kikilalan sa uma komkol silu eweo te John naman huni. Komte awilaw kom luwachala poganala sawas. Menlaw sawas o tarela mamakan o mechikan magoyan sa uma niyang bampaki kasantiyan tatawang gamas irairan beach wano o quarantine. May irairtiyan juwang aramas chikan makomkan magasoma. Kom tatang ke quarantine makom matawa makom juwang aramas ma positive o makom alakasaw makatete makom positive. Haliti sawas matang kendarela nor. Iropoches poitar sang namanaman ng Nanyelu, Micronesian Resource Center o station kan and choice broadcasting. Palangay.
Alexa.
California's university system reaches a settlement with women who claim a gynecologist sexually abused them.
A class action lawsuit was settled for $73 million between 7 women and the UC school system. Dr. James Heaps was accused of abusing women between 1983 and 2018 at UCLA. He had 6,600 patients over that period of time, and they could all possibly get some of the money, even if they didn't accuse the doctor of anything. More than 200 women called UCLA after his arrest last year to talk about their experiences with him. The women who did come forward say he examined them without gloves, made inappropriate remarks, and simulated inappropriate acts with an ultrasound probe. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
A former top union executive is heading to prison for corruption. Joseph Ashton, former vice president of the United Auto Workers Union, is sentenced to 2.5 years behind bars for accepting kickbacks. Ashton is also a former GM board member, pleaded guilty in December to conspiring with other union officials to receive hundreds of thousands of dollars. Airbnb filing some details on its plan to go public.
Here's what we know. It'll be a traditional IPO listed on the NASDAQ, ticker ABNB. It's planning to raise $3 billion, which would make it one of the biggest IPOs this year. That puts its valuation at roughly $30 billion. The company has experienced a slowdown because of COVID-19, less people wanting to travel and stay in places other than their actual home. But the company is back from its pandemic lows, and the third quarter showed a profit. It also saw profitability in 2017 and 18. Compare that to some of the other tech unicorns, and yes, profitability is a big deal.
Fox Business's Jackie DeAngelis. An hour to the close on Wall Street, the Dow's down 115 points, but the NASDAQ is edging higher. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
You've got a job to do. Having the right equipment for the job is critical, and East West Rental has the exact tools you need. Get it done faster with the right stuff, whether it's landscaping tools, concrete tools, lifts, trucks, lights, generators, trench boxes, welders, tents, tables, and chairs. They're here to help you tackle any project you're working on, big or small. Open Monday to Saturday, 7 to 5, closed Sundays. Find what you're looking for at East West Rental Center in Upper Tumont or call 646-1463.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumont. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
What's for breakfast at KFC under $3.95, you ask? What's for breakfast at KFC that's different than the other guys, you ask? KFC's chicken wrap, sausage wrap, the Colonel's chicken congee, chicken fried steak, sausage biscuit and gravy, and biscuit sandwiches made with KFC's original fluffy biscuits. All for under $3.95 and all only at KFC. Plus, with waffles and the Colonel's chicken fried rice, we've got something for everyone.
So visit KFC for breakfast today. It's finger-licking good.
half a day. Good morning. It's 6:06. I'm Ana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news. Here on The Point, Congressman Mike St. Nicholas will be heading back to Washington, D.C. This after taking the lead in the runoff election yesterday, leading to a late-night concession by his contender, former Congressman Robert Underwood. As the results were being posted, it had become clear that St. Nicholas was in the lead, which led to Underwood calling a press conference where he conceded to the incumbent. Underwood congratulating Delegate St. Nicholas on his victory, wishing him well in his future endeavors. Well, the island's now seen its 100th COVID-related fatality, with yet another individual dying yesterday. The 58-year-old man had underlying health conditions that were further complicated by COVID. He was admitted to GMH on October 18th and had tested positive upon admission. Earlier in the day, a 73-year-old man became the 99th COVID-related fatality on Guam. According to the Joint Information Center, the man was a patient at GMH and also had underlying health conditions that were complicated by COVID-19. Meanwhile, the count as of yesterday had us at 6,234 total cases since testing started in March. There are currently 1,796 people in active isolation. Yesterday's positive number was at 59 cases, 19 cases identified through contact tracing. 4 individuals reported recent travel and were identified in quarantine. As of yesterday, the COVID area risk score, or the CAR score, is at 22.5. That was down from 41.5 the day before. And while there's a lot of news regarding COVID and the pandemic response, people need to be cautious where they're getting their news from. In the last couple of days, there's been some fake news being circulated throughout social media, warning people to prepare for the governor to declare an island-wide lockdown for at least 2 to 4 weeks. The Joint Information Center says it's not true, nor are the reports that the administration's considering a $2,000 fine for not wearing a mask. The JIC is asking that people share only verified and official information. Well, more news right after this.
Here's an important message to federal employees and annuitants from Take Care. Given the extraordinary challenges presented this year due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this year's open season is like no other in the way you'll access information and choose a plan. Open season runs from November 9 through December 14. Exciting changes are being made across all Take Care plan options to expand access to care. To learn more, visit www.takecareasia.com/openseason20 or call 647-3526. Take Care. Our island, your health plan.
The Guam Environmental Protection Agency resumes operation after an employee there tested positive. There are actually 4 employees who were identified as close contacts, and they remain in self-quarantine. The offices have been disinfected, and it's business as usual today. Well, Guam will soon get its share of the COVID vaccine, but the Guam Memorial Hospital isn't clear on which version it will receive. The hospital administrator, Lillian Posadas, in today's Guam Daily News says that they had been expecting the vaccine produced by Pfizer, but she has received word that it may now be the version made by Moderna. She tells the PDN that Moderna's vaccine doesn't require ultra-cold storage, which Pfizer vaccine requires. GMH also doesn't have the ultra-cold storage capability. The Pfizer vaccine also has a lifespan of 5 days versus Moderna's, which is 30 days. The Department of Labor putting out $7.1 million in pandemic unemployment assistance this week. Dave Della Sola, who's the director there, says that this batch will bring them to claims filed by September 16th. Another $7.1 million in benefits will be dispersed possibly today. Meanwhile, they are looking at putting out the lost wage assistance payments in time for Thanksgiving. They do want to lump all 6 weeks together, so those who qualify for all 6 weeks of LWAs could be getting a check worth of $1,800. Again, those checks should be coming out by November 24th. And there was a bit of excitement at a government quarantine facility when a stowaway was discovered in one of the rooms. A 24-year-old woman reportedly made her way into the facility and was discovered in her boyfriend's room. The woman is now being quarantined and could face jail time. Police say a nurse reported the possible violation when the unauthorized individual was discovered in the facility. The case has now been forwarded to the AG's office for prosecution.
We need names. We need Facebook pictures. We need this was not a stowaway. This is a conjugal visit.
Immediately, what came to mind was the boyfriend's ego. He's like, "Girl, you come over here because I don't know what you're doing."
Wait, what are you? That's right. I'm in lockdown here, babe. What are you up to? Who's that? I heard you went to the store with a guy. Somebody went shopping with somebody?
No, babe, I didn't. No.
You better get over here. Oh, my God.
I'll park outside. You can watch me from the window.
That's right. I'll just be on the beach with my boyfriend, my other boyfriend. 6:11 in the morning. What a great way to start the day, huh? I love that story. High surf advisory in effect until this afternoon along north-facing reefs. There's a high risk of rip currents on those reefs as well. Mostly cloudy today, becoming partly cloudy afternoon. Isolated showers, easterly winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Expected highs today around 88 degrees for tonight. Partly cloudy, isolated showers. More of those easterly winds and lows around 77 degrees. There will be a heat index today. Not much, 90 degrees. A lot of rain already falling this morning, so expect some wet road conditions while you're driving around. For tomorrow, hey, tomorrow is Thursday, which is a day before Friday. Are we feeling the rhythm? Are we getting back into that pattern here? Partly cloudy Thursday, more isolated showers, southeast winds 10 to 15 miles an hour, and daytime highs of about 89 degrees. Sun coming up over at Pirates Cove. As a matter of fact, I got some artwork from Jeff just a few minutes ago. Got another one from Lena McAfee. I think this from over at Tagatsing again. Maybe I'll put that up on the screen so you can see it. But from Pirates Cove, the sun beginning to break up. Should be up at 6:21. At sunset tonight is going to be at 5:50. Hashtag tell the others. Will there be good sunset hunting tonight? I don't know. Got a decent sunrise this morning. Some clouds out there. Maybe that'll stick around through the rest of the day. We'll get something colorful for you. 6:13 in the morning. That's news and weather together, brought to you by Bank Pacific. Banking on the Pacific for 66 years.
Go green. Go hybrid. Go to Nanbo Insurance, and your next power bill is on us. Insure your hybrid car at Nanbo and get up to $350 towards your next power bill. That's instant savings for keeping our island clean and green. Nanbo has been providing Guam with over 50 years of reliable and affordable auto insurance. At Nanbo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit nanbo.com or call 477-9754 for details.
Are you fed up with those long bank lines? Do you wish you had a bank who gave you faster service? Well, by enrolling in Bank Pacific's new mobile app, you don't even need to wait in line. But even if you do want to come down in person, we're more than happy to see your smiling face, as long as you have a mask. Because our service is so good, we don't believe in lines. Because for 66 years, we've been making sure you get the service you deserve. Because where others put branches, we place roots. And we're rooting for you. Member FDIC.
Wait, 24-year-old, we still don't know her name? Did you get it yet?
I'm looking.
Is it in the magistrate report? Where did you find that story? That's awesome.
It's all over the place. It's in both the PDN and the Post. And Candid actually
Candace got the story.
Wrote the story.
Do we have? But no artwork yet.
That's how we know it's the boyfriend.
Troy.
Find Troy.
Tony first, but Troy for sure.
Okay, I hope he's awake.
He's awake. He never sleeps now. No, he's together. You got the shingles. You can't sleep when you got shingles. It feels like you gasoline on fire.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So anyway, what I got to do is things for KFC. So I'm always talking about stuff that you can buy there, the sausages and the congee and the chicken fried steak and all of that. But do you realize that if you buy more than $6 worth of goodies over at KFC for breakfast, you get free stuff? Would you like what, Ray? Tell me what at KFC do I get for free when you spend over $6? A small Colonel's chicken fried rice, Colonel's chicken congee, a little 8-ounce version of that, some hash browns, or small iced coffee, huh? So it's not just the stuff that you order. You're also lined up for free goodness over at KFC. 6:15 in the morning. The Ray Gibson Show is brought to you by APL, American President Lines, global presence with a local home.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
This is where the brain trust is for the morning show today. As I finish up the KFC commercial, and Mana's like, "Are they giving away free porcelain this year? Man,
I have an incomplete set. 2 more.
No, I
2 more platters.
I
from
believe I
KFC.
have the complete set from a couple of years ago when they first opened up the store in Barragata. I went to KFC every week on the day that they changed, and would always get the requisite number of chickens in order to get the deal.
You have the small,
So I've got the big tureen that I put the rice in on the Saturday when you guys were at the
Nice.
house. I got the oval bowl. I got the square thing. I got the squarer serving dish and all of that stuff. So I believe I have the entire set over at KFC. I don't know if I just sent a note to Frank Cruz over at KFC. I just sent him a note now to find out if they're doing that again this year for the holidays. So you can complete your entire. Well, I see. And I'm jealous of you. I'm jealous because you have a complete set of stickers. You voted in the primary, you voted in the general, and you voted in the runoff election.
Yep.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
What a thing.
I'll do it again.
I got 2 stickers, and I was thinking about this is going to be fun for me, trying to figure out whether how I will display them, because that's a deal. Everybody on Facebook that when they voted, they took some kind of a picture. Here's the I voted thing. It was almost its own island-wide meme. It went wider than the rumors of the lockdown yesterday. But everybody had their things up, and I couldn't come up with a clever way to I knew I wanted it to be naughty. But I didn't know just how
naughty?
How naughty I wanted it to be. How naughty do I want
There's levels to this.
Well,
I
we did
agree.
get Jay's card that I used I voted sticker.
Oh, that
to
was
cover.
naughty.
Whose card? Oh, Jay Rojas.
Yeah, my birthday card.
Jay Rojas' card. Okay.
From that famous dude.
I'm like, God.
You put clothes on a guy.
For those of you that look, I was just having a hard time thinking about it yesterday. Here's the deal, guys. Just imagine something really naughty. I mean, beyond Pikuru, and put the I voted sticker in there somewhere. And it might be, well, I'll leave it to your own imagination. It's 6:18 in the morning. Welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. It is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3. The Point. My name is Ray. Thrilled as usual to be here with you, and even more thrilled because unlike everybody else that's doing morning shows anywhere else on Guam, I didn't stay up late for crap last night. This is how I spent election night last night. You'd think that I would be sitting on my couch with a notepad as the numbers came in, trying to figure out how we did in this precinct, how we were doing in that precinct. I stayed up late last night watching Porky's.
Oh,
right.
Classic.
Oh my God. Classic.
Cinematic masterpiece, if I say so myself.
What a fine film. What a fine film. Cult classic. And I don't know. I'd gotten to the rest of, I'd finished all of the lumpia that Mana brought to the house over the weekend. And so I'm watching that, and I'm eating that. I'm watching Porky's, and I'm thinking, this is the best night ever. Oh, my God.
Sweet. You resurrected the lumpia.
What a thing. Yeah, for the last round. A little bit of, sweet chili sauce.
I think you can air fry it back to life.
Okay.
No, we're so you left already, but we already had this conversation yesterday. For those of you that weren't listening late in the program yesterday, the method of perfection is at least in my mind, is you nuke it in the microwave for about 50 seconds, maybe 60, depending on how many you're trying to reheat. Then you put it in a toaster oven. And the toaster oven will dry out the outside and just about crisp it up. I agree, an air fryer, but since I don't know one, I cannot test that out. Sahara Defensor is watching the program and asked online yesterday, in the midst of everything else going on, is asking online, okay, so just got an air fryer. Does that count as adulting?
Yes.
You're in.
It does. Children, no. Getting an air fryer,
But if the only
absolutely.
thing that you cook in there is French fries, then maybe not.
You can do French fries, chicken
Tater
wings,
tots.
spam. You can do spam. Our brother Dave has a great. He makes a great meatloaf to begin with. Then he takes the meatloaf, puts it in little slices, and then he sticks it in his air fryer and gives it a nice round of tostas on the outside. Have that with a couple of maybe some aioli sauce or ketchup. I mean, just try it out if you're doing that this morning. Make that your quest for today, because some of you actually believed the rumors yesterday and bought a buttload of food in anticipation of what would they say? A 4-week lockdown.
Oh, 2 to 4 weeks.
2 to 4 week lockdown.
yeah.
Get ready. No exemption. No industry is going to be exempted
And
from this.
$2,000 fine for masks.
Everybody's going to be in some kind of lockdown. And I'm going, really, guys, in the middle of all of the other stuff, there's how come we're not doing good rumors? What is the matter with people that they've got to go out there and they've got to incite panic? They've got to go out there and incite fear among the community. That really disappoints. Why can you not come up with good rumors? Why couldn't we come out with a rumor that says Lou is quitting, Josh is taking over, and we're at P-Corps 4 before Thanksgiving? How come there's not that rumor floating around? Right? We're not seeing that in
It's too good to be true.
It's just as extreme as the rumors that were floating around yesterday,
There's
right?
a lot of Chicken Littles on Guam.
Oh my God, anti-angries floating around. Oh my Karens and all of that. 6:21 in the morning. Lots to talk about. Lots to unpack as we make and lots to unpack today, and still leftover stuff from yesterday and Monday that I didn't unpack for you because we get busy in conversations and other random streams of consciousness that go through. But I'll try to close everything up today, and that way we'll have new stuff going in tomorrow and on Friday. In the meantime, there's a bunch of superstars we got to say good morning to.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name. You want to go where people know people are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
Oh, we got some great memes here floating around. What is this? Thanksgiving 2020, and there's a picture of a bunch of guys that are ready to break into a house. We know you bought a turkey that feeds 12 to 15 people. What is that? Bang bang Mateo. 6:22 in the morning, and what did you send me, Monty? You sent me a link to
I
to where?
sent you the candid story.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Let me see if we can read this. True love lands a young woman in quarantine jail. I'll put that off the screen so people aren't reading everybody else's phone numbers. A 24-year-old woman whose name has not been released by police missed her boyfriend so much she decided to visit him at his hotel room. The problem? Her boyfriend is in quarantine at the Bayview Hotel. A confidential source of information tells Candid News the man is COVID-19 positive, which is why he's at the government-designated isolation facility. The 24-year-old woman has been placed in quarantine for violating protocols at that facility. Are they at least in the same room? That was, wouldn't that suck?
You might as well put them together.
Hey, babes, I miss you. I miss you so much. I broke into your quarantine jail.
Great job, security.
Yeah. So what was it?
No kidding. They have people
just a Romeo and Juliet stuff here. There's. I'm sure there's boinking going on in some of the other quarantine rooms here. What is that? At any rate, it says that a statement by police spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau on Monday, November 26th, GPD personnel assigned to a government isolation facility was made aware by nursing staff of a possible violation. The situation being what it is, the police did not take her into their custody. Instead, public health nurses had her confined to the facility in quarantine. The case has been forwarded to the Office of the Attorney General for possible indictment and prosecution. Wait, you remember what was the name of that guy? Was the Wet Willie dude that was breaking out? And I haven't heard anything on that case. So now we've got another case of people breaking into the quarantine facility. The world is truly upside down. All right, so who looks like the top 10 this morning? Rico B. and Pam Duvall. That's 1 and 2. Adonis Mendiola, 3. Joey Kitsutu, good morning. Jerome McDonald, John Barcinas, Nicholas J. Nauta, John Ray Taitano, and Eunice Mendiola, Henry Manglotia, and looks like Bennett Spence rounds out the top 10 here this morning. Joanne Bilibay is there. Linda Gabriel waving. Hi, says Dennis Benzer. How was the cold shower? Oh, I forgot to take a cold shower this morning. I forgot. Why did I forget? Still Porky's in my head. Porky's was still in my head. Let me see. Bruce Johnson saying, hey, Point, good to have you there. Hafeste, Mana, RJ Seeds and Race is Mike Grace Blas. Valerie S.A. Untalan is watching. Ismail says, how about that? TSLA was finally included in the S&P 500. Interesting. Remind me to watch the numbers as the market closes today. See what's going on there. Tommy Bernardo, Alfred Wayne Cabo is watching. So is M.T. Farron, Anthony Perez. Buenas to Peter Lozano, Christian Dixon, and Tomas Calvo. Tomas Calvo saying, thank you, Guam. Did Tommy win something? Oh, we have to talk about the election.
I don't know,
we'll get around to talking about the election here in a second. Kenneth Paulino, Anthony Kitigua, Cheryl Achai, and Jessica Nicholas. Bob Ellsworth saying good morning to everybody. And there's Perlita Delamar Garcia watching the program. And let me see. Tommy Calvo says the election was proof that politicians cannot fool the people. Peter Lozano, morning Guam, stay safe, everybody. My buddy Joe Leasialangi is online. Rick Mendiola. Joe Cruz says, I love it. God, it's good to be alive with you. Good morning, Guam and beyond. Let's get it. There's our motivational moment with the real Joe Cruz. You know, if something ever happens to Jerry Roberts in the Extra Point, you'll help me find a replacement, right?
Of course.
You're the man. Lily Lillian Cruz and Tony and Annette and Pinko at Tony and Annette and Pinko. Buenos.
Biba.
To the guy. What? Hey, who's on one? Who's there?
Oh, that's Uncle Paps.
Already?
Yeah, Uncle Paps raring to go.
Oh, he's got to wait.
He wants to talk about stuff.
I'm sure he'll want to talk about the election. Brian Strickner and so wait a second. He didn't like Mike St. Nicholas, did he?
I don't know.
He wasn't a Mike guy. I think he was an Uncle Robert guy, right?
I can't. Uncle Paps. Well, I don't know.
Uncle Paps. My goal here is to unify the Democrat Party.
There you go.
That's my goal. That's the title of the program today. Biba MSN. Biba RAU. Time for unity in the Democratic Party. It's time for healing. And the reason why I say that, if people are going to go, what's happening, Ray? It's not what's happening. It's what hasn't happened.
There you go.
It's 6:20 what? 6:28 in the morning. The count has been over for hours, literally hours. Uncle Robert has already conceded the election. Should not there, by now, have been a statement from the Democratic Party of Guam.
Wow.
The Democrat Party of Guam should have come out with a statement. You know, one of these things, it would have been something simple, but as each second goes by, it looks worse and worse for the Democratic Party. Just look like sore losers. Even though one of their own won.
They're looking in their "We wish you well" file.
That's exactly what it's going to say. Sarah Netadog is going to take the same press release that they did for Maria Senzon the other day and just take out her name and put Mike St. Nicholas in there and Congressman, and that's the way it's going to be. I'm serious. No, there's some small people in the Democratic Party. They're just I'm serious. They're trying to come up with a way to I don't know, put lipstick on this pig that they've just been handed. At least that's the way I feel about it. If you think I'm wrong, you're more than welcome to call at 888-8255 and tell me why that is. Rudy Rodolfo is online. Sean May and Kiko Ensan Manibusan is there. Shouldn't that be Kiko Man Manibusan? Juanita Machi is on. Charlie Keone, good morning to Anne-Marie Sablon Trousseau. Peter Santos says, congratulations to Benji Pears for getting Mike St. Nicholas re-elected. But does anybody know when the special election will be held after MSN gets the boot for his criminal and ethics violations? Ayade, Peter. Ayade. Come here, boy. Come here. Come with Daddy. Come with Daddy. Let me just explain the way the world works here. It is what it is, and we can now look forward to another 2 years of Mike St. Nicholas over in Congress. And Uncle Robert says he's going to find something else to do related to public service. So it's not like and it's not like Uncle Robert needed the job. You know how many things he's retired from? You know how many annuities the guy's got coming in from all kinds of different places? Frankly, it probably would have cost him money to go back to D.C. Felix Baum is there, Gerald Young, Martin Mendoza, Andy Camacho, Guam delegate runoff election result, 90% of the vote, and the winner is Joe Biden. I see Patty Santiago watching the program. I see Mark Duenas and Bertha Maza Cruz, Josh Lassiter, and Joe and Irene Cruz, Carmen Ungacta Guzman, Josephine T. Arceo. Carlos Barreto is watching the program. Jay Nauta says, if homeless need a place to stay, sneak into the quarantine facility. We were just talking about that last night. Me and a couple of friends looking around the downtown Agana area and realizing that it had literally been a couple of weeks since somebody had come up to us asking, hey, do you have cigarette? Do you have any money? Just a couple of dollars that you can give me? It's been a while. I think they've successfully moved those guys on. As I said, Jennifer Leon Guerrero there. Evergreen, South Guam is watching. Evergreen, South Guam. Here's a question for you. How come all the naked chicks are going to Ski Beach and not your place? I'm kind of curious about that. And if you missed the discussion yesterday, I'm trying to get as many people as possible to stop sending me the picture of the naked woman over at Ski Beach. There's like 25, 30 of these pictures, and every time I delete them from my phone, somebody sends them to me.
I'm sorry, Ray.
If you
I mean it, man.
I'm just at phone numbers, a Snapchat name or something, an Instagram handle might be a little bit helpful, but everybody's just sending me the pictures like, oh, wow, here's something interesting. And I'm told that when I send them to anybody else, that might be some kind of internet trafficking of porn. So please don't ask me to send you copies of those pictures. You're going to have to go find some Peekaboo boys and get them from them. As I said, Sahara Defensors online. Jeff Pleadwell is there as well. Walter Gray, Janine Bloss. Good morning to everybody's right-clicking on you, Janine Bloss. Just saying. Tim Lohan, Bill Pettit is there. Cameron Mendiola, Jess Mendiola, Post Canteen. And Lynn Tidinko saying half a day to everybody around here. Bunch of folks that we get to hang around. Yes, we did, Jesse, says Marie Evaristo. And looking at some of the other comments. I'll get caught up with all the names that I haven't necessarily checked in with. But will, as we move through the Wednesday version of the Ray Gibson Show. So I haven't really gotten up on all of the numbers with the election. It looked like Mike got it handy. And at some point last night, Uncle Robert was looking at things coming in. So well, it doesn't look good, so he did the concession speech. And as I said, still nothing yet from the Democratic Party of Guam congratulating Mike Nicholas and all of the people that voted for him in this election, even though most of the people that voted for him probably Republican. But I'm just saying. Now, I do want to give you some hope. It is my job, and somebody referred to me as cheery, a bright, cheery radio voice. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to try to use that power for good today. I'm going to give you hope. Are you ready for hope, Montecito Battalion?
I need hope.
Real Joe Cruz.
Please give me some hope.
My name is Ray Gibson. I'm the man from hope today. And here's hope number one in the form of a number. 720. It's the number of days until the next general election. Hope number two. Hope number two.
Hope floats.
36 days. If the internet did the calculations right, 36 days away from Christmas.
Really?
Yep. 36. And here's another. 45 days away from New Year's. Now, that's not the hope part. That is not the hope part. The hope part is that Christmas and New Year's fall on a Friday.
What?
They both fall on Fridays this year, which means that the Thursday before Christmas, the Thursday before New Year's, that's going to be Thursday, Friday off, right, for the holiday, and then we got 2 more days after that to recover and have a good time. So we'll
be fat by Monday.
Exactly. So we'll leave work like the 30th and don't get back to work until the 4th. Does that sound long enough? Are you not filled with hope?
I don't know, man, but all these troubles and problems I'm having, and you just, it's gone now.
Right? Do you feel lighter now?
Yes.
This is.
I feel like I'm in a bath of Raymond right now.
It's
Take it away, Ray.
It's 6:33 in the morning. More hope on the way after headlines with Montecito Retirement. What's going on?
Well, Congressman Mike Nicholas will be heading back to Washington, D.C. after he took the lead in the runoff yesterday as contender. Former Congressman Robert Underwood congratulating Delegate Nicholas on his victory, wishing him well in his future endeavors. The island has now seen its 100th COVID-related fatality. A 58-year-old man died with underlying conditions further complicated by COVID-19 earlier in the day yesterday. A 73-year-old man became the island's 99th COVID-19 fatality. Yesterday's positive number was at 59 cases, 19 identified through contact tracing, 4 cases reported recent travel to the States and were identified in quarantine. Meanwhile, the Joint Information Center is warning of fake news that warns of a potential 2 to 4 week lockdown by the administration and a $2,000 fine for not wearing masks. The JIC says none of it's true, and people are urged to only share verified and official information regarding COVID-19. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray.
You know, I just want to know, guys. The time for sour grapes has come and gone. I don't understand where hateful memes.
I can't believe you.
What do you mean you can't believe me? What? You can't believe I put this on?
Yeah,
this is an example of the hubris that is out there amongst those people. The election has been over for like 5 hours. While we haven't heard anything yet from the Democrat Party of Guam, there are already a number of people who have come up with their own memes. For those of you not watching on Facebook Live or YouTube Live or the Point.gu, what we've got here is a meme with its Uncle Robert in a wheelchair being pushed by Mike Nicholas, and the tagline reads, "Are you ready to retire?" It's 6:34.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer staycation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,900 by calling Family Finance. Agana 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo at 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
You need to get a new car. Come on, celebrate the victory with a new car from over at Nissan. Why now, Nissan? Ray, why today? Now is the time because they'll make your first three payments. Financing as low as 1.99% on your good credit. Brand new Nissans starting as low as $84 a pay period. Now this week they're focusing on trying to get you to go on a test drive with the 2020 Kick. Super safe automobile, awesome fuel economy for all of those lines that we have to be in for food and I don't know, voting, all of those kinds of things. The 2020 Rogue and the Rogue Sport are also on sale these days over at Nissan. America's best-selling SUV, 5-year Consumer Digest Best Buy, and this is something that you're going to love driving for a long time. Now, how do you get a test drive? Easy. Just swing by the nearest Nissan and ask for Mike Templo, Eric Cooper, or Gentleman Galt, and they'll be happy to take you on a test drive and start putting the paperwork together for your new Nissan. Portions of the program also brought to you by Subway. Yeah, they got that barbecue chicken deal going on. Your favorite bread, barbecue chicken, super saucy, super flavorful. Throw some vegetables in there if you like, maybe a couple of pieces of sauce, and you are going to love that. Try it today at Subway.
Okay, Google. Hey, Siri. Hi, Bixby.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Open the Point app. Opening.
Live stream, on demand, swap stations. Check out the visual radio. Get the free app available on the App Store and Google Play, or go to thepoint.gu.
Thank you so much. 6:37 in the morning, and it is time for our first look at traffic. I don't see a whole lot happening. There might be some slower intersection traffic, again, because of all the rain that fell last night. Look at Anderson Air Force Base. Nothing major there. Don't see any congestion back road or the front roads into downtown Datado and then into Upper Tumon. Looking good just about everywhere. Don't see anything on Route 10 that's going to slow you down. 8, 10, 16, not so bad. A little bit of congestion on Route 4, and I want to say that's over by the church, but I scooch in and look at that again in just a little bit. All the way down to Big Navy and Sumai. Looks like a lot of people are sleeping in. So enjoy the drive. Just as I say, drive to the conditions because it did do a little bit of raining last night. It's 6:37 right now. Traffic here on The Point.
Did you know your smartphone is one of the most powerful tools in our fight against COVID-19? That's why we're bringing you the Guam COVID Alert Exposure Notification app. Developed by Google, Apple, and the PathCheck Foundation, the app works by letting you know if you've been exposed to someone who's positive. It's completely voluntary, and more importantly, it's anonymous. Add your phone to the COVID fight. Go to guamcovidalert.guam.gov or download it from the App Store or Google Play now. Help Guam stop COVID-19.
Any speaker, anytime. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Ray Gibson's absolutely overrated. Yeah, as I keep waiting for the headline in the newspaper, Guam Daily Post, Gibson, no talent. Why do people listen to him? Don't know. 888-8255, 888-TALK at 6:38 in the morning. Alpha Lintarenko, Marie Evaristo, Marie, Ramy Delgado, Camacho, Frank Gloria, Sean May. Tell Jerry what's upper is the deal. Okay, gotcha. Perlita is there. Alicia Adelby, good morning to you. CJ Bam from the Cheesehead State is online. Good morning to Sharon Tobin. Sharon sent me something. She sent me a meme yesterday, and I fell in love with it, and I've been passing it around. Hold on, see, I'm not going to put it up on the screen. I'm just going to tell you what it said. It's a picture, and it said, "My obituary will probably say he knew better, but did it anyway." And she says, every time I look at that, Ray Gibson, it reminds me of you. I'm like, oh, really, Sharon? Sharon, would you break into quarantine for me? That's the tagline that Canada's using in the graphics. I would do anything for love.
But I won't do that.
But I won't do that. 888-8255, 888-TALK. All right, Uncle Pap's in a minute, but I want to give an opportunity for party leadership to say something about the victory of Congressman Mike Sinicolas over former Congressman Robert Underwood. That took place, a special runoff election that took place yesterday, and before you know it, it's all done. It looks like we're sending Mike Sinicolas back to Washington D.C. to represent Guam in the House of Representatives. And I think that it's a big deal. It's an exercise in democracy and a wonderful, wonderful thing. So I'd like, as I said, to bring in party leadership, and you're probably going, all right, that's cool. So Sarah Nederdog from the Democratic Party's on the phone? No. Tony Atta from the Republican Party is on a telephone line. Good morning, Tony. How you doing?
Hoppity, good morning, Ray. Good morning, Mana.
Good
morning.
Senator-elect, it's always
Senator.
a big deal hearing from you, and absolutely thrilled here to be thinking about the 36th Guam legislature with you and a whole another pile of Republicans in there. I don't know, restore some confidence in this government that we've got here. At any rate, though, I wanted to get your thoughts because we're not getting anything out of the Democratic Party just yet. Which is totally amusing to me. So I wanted to get the Republican line on this first thing this morning. What do you think?
Well, we like to congratulate Congressman St. Nicholas for his victory in the runoff election. Congressman Underwood as well. They both ran campaigns to get reelected and elected, but Congressman St. Nicholas prevailed over this runoff. And we look forward to working with Congressman St. Nicholas and advancing the agenda of the people of Guam and our island needs. So it's the voice in Washington that's important, and we want to make sure that we stay connected and we all work together as one, so that we can ensure that everything that Guam is needing, or that the U.S. can assist us with, that our voice in Congress is there to project that, and also to work with it to ensure that we get what we need.
No secret, but I know that Mike St. Nicholas has had a lot of support from the Republicans, and there's a number of endeavors that have taken place between Guam and Washington, D.C. recently, where he seems to have worked hand in glove with Republicans that have gone to Washington, D.C., and with Republicans on issues related to Guam that they were specifically pushing in Washington, D.C. You anticipate that's going to continue into the new year? Into the new term?
Well, it's issues that are very important to the people of Guam, and it didn't prevent anything from, or anyone from, also working with the congressman, the administration or the legislature, to working with the congressman to move those agendas forward. I think with the congressman reaching out to the Republican Party just shows that, he has that ability to reach across the aisle as well and work together so that we do move these issues forward.
Any thoughts on where you'd like to see Uncle Robert show up in terms of community service? Some of the things that you'd like to see his experience and expertise.
Uncle Robert has been very instrumental as a congressman, as the president of UOG. I think whatever he decides that he wants to do in the future, in the near future, he's going to do excellent at it. And I hope that he doesn't say, he's going to go and retire. And I don't think we've seen the last of Uncle Robert. I think that Uncle Robert is going to continue to be out there helping the community as he's always done.
6:43, and one other thought before I let you go, because the term now that Mike is signing up for will be up again for review by the voters in now 2 years hence. And what are the thoughts of the Republican Party moving forward to 2022 to provide a degree of competition to Mike? Is there somebody in the party? I mean, I keep talking about you and Eddie Calvo running for governor in 2022.
Well,
you didn't notice I stopped talking there because I wanted to comment. Go ahead.
So anyway, what we want to do is to ensure that any candidate that wants to throw their hat into the ring for for Adelup or for Congress or senator, mayor, whatever the position is, we want to make sure that we get all candidates out there and involved in the process of whatever office they want to move for.
Well, that's kind of a generic answer. Specifically, is will you support another run for Will Castro if he decides he wants to run in 2022?
If Senator Castro throws his hat into the ring again, then you know what? We need to support all our candidates. We need to ensure that all our candidates are well represented and well supported, so that we can ensure that we have a slate going into 2022.
Well, you got to start building it now. I think you're going to need to start looking for somebody, some bodies in the Republican Party that might be able to suspend Mike St. Nicholas's tenure in 2022 and make a good run for it, because you got to get we want the Trinity back, majority in the legislature, leadership over at Adelup, and somebody in Congress from the GOP.
Yeah, definitely. But as of now, what we got to do is we've got to all work together and get past this pandemic, and help our people on our island.
Yeah, you know how I feel about that. There's a resolution that the current round of Republicans at the legislature have that could do a whole lot by way of easing people's anxieties. 6:45 in the morning. Tony Anna, always a delight talking with you. And when you and Governor Calvo decide to throw your hat in the ring, please remember to make your announcement here first.
Okay, we'll do.
You know, I appreciate it.
Take care.
6:45 in the morning. And so now, while I'm talking with Tony, somebody called in and Real Joe. I heard Real Joe say, "Oh my God!" What were you oh my godding about?
Somebody called and said that girl that snuck into the quarantine.
Yeah,
that's just the girlfriend. It's not the wife. Yeah, so I was like, oh my God, only on Guam.
Oh, wait. Is it about to get deeper here? Is that why we're not mentioning anybody's name? The name of the guy? We're not mentioning the name of the 24-year-old girlfriend because that's the side?
Plot twist.
Now, you know what? I feel sorry for every other guy who's currently in there.
Guam. I love Guam.
Because there's probably like 20 other guys.
20 other married guys, right? The wives
and
are
then the
listening
wives
right
are
now
going, was it you?
What?
I know, was it you?
What's that, honey?
It was you.
Yeah, it's quarantine drop.
I'm checking your phone as soon as you get out. I'm looking at your phone. If you don't give me that phone, you better just call Jay Ariola right now.
Let that man go.
6:46 in the morning. All right. Now maybe with the Democrat response on the victory with Mike Nicholas over Robert Underwood, here's my Uncle Paps, my beloved Uncle Paps. Buenas and Hapade.
It's a shame that your phones were out yesterday because it was Mana's birthday.
I know it. You know what? They went out right after I was talking with Uncle Robert yesterday. The phones. The phones went out, and now here's let me explain to everybody let me just explain to everybody what happened here. It's first of all, Mars is in retrograde. That's number one. Number two, our telecommunications partner is iConnect, and no secret, iConnect, bunches of pieces of iConnect got sold off to IT&E, and some of that technical handoff happened yesterday. And while it was taking place, while that was occurring, it affected 888-8255, which is an iConnect number, which is now an IT&E number. So connections were being made, connections were broken. Finally got everything back together about 10 o'clock. Unfortunately. And I've got the WhatsApps to prove it. Unfortunately, I had also sent a note to Jennifer Wynn to make sure that Mike Nicholas knew that he had equal time after Uncle Robert called. But I don't know whether she was able to call in or whether Mike was able to call in. At any rate, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But anyway, they were out before Robert called. How did Robert and Mary O'Connor get in? Did they get a separate number?
With Robert and Mary? Yes, we did give them. Yeah, well, what happened was you couldn't dial into 888-8255, which is an alias number to something else, and so Real Joe just reached out to them and gave them the correct dial-in number. And if I'll tell you what, if you like, I'll put you on hold and he can give you that number as well.
You can just go straight to wishing me a happy birthday because you know what? It's still my birthday in the States.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So happy birthday, but Mona,
Thank you,
I've asked
Paps.
you this before. Do you know any celebrity, even if they're dead, that's born on the same day as you?
Robert,
I have a list.
What's his name?
The-
Danny DeVito.
Yes.
Danny DeVito. And any big event that happened?
And then Archie Bunker. No.
Well, no. Martin Scorsese is 78. Lauren Hutton, the actress, is 77 years old. The genius behind the 70s version of Saturday Night, it sucks now, but back in the day, Saturday Night Live, under the younger leadership of Lorne Michaels, who is 76 on your birthday, is you right? Danny DeVito, RuPaul shares your birthday.
You go.
And Daisy Fuentes is also celebrating a birthday today. And as far as the important
And
events,
Archie Bunker. I mean, that was a
I
big
love
one for
Archie
me.
Bunker.
Me too.
Oh, Archie Bunker, okay. And important events, any?
No, other than me being born.
Again, I have a list. I've got a list. In 1970, Douglas Engelbart received the patent for the very first, it's in 1970 now, and he received a patent for the very first computer mouse. Back to 1970 was when that first happened, and
there
more,
were computers back then.
Huge computers. But the other big event is in 2003. This guy was inaugurated the governor of California, who is Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What?
Oh, okay.
On Mana's birthday.
He came in a recall election. When they recalled Governor Gray Davis, that's how Arnold Schwarzenegger came in.
There you go.
He's inaugurated in November, right?
Man.
So,
that's right.
You are a walking encyclopedia.
Uncle Paps, though, your thoughts on yesterday's runoff election?
Yeah, that's why I called up.
Okay.
So yesterday in Told Tales, I said I'm not predicting the voter turnout, but I told Bob I would not be surprised if it's as low as 16,200. And the way I got that number is half the voters that voted 2 weeks ago would show up, and 5% of those that did vote. Well, it wound up to be 17,300, and that's half the voters that did vote, but 10% of those that did vote. So that's what it came out to. Now, the other thing I told Bob is you don't look at the numbers, because there's going to be a lot less voters. He was 37 votes ahead. You look at the percentage. In the last election, almost to the number, St. Nicholas was 40% above Robert Underwood. This time he wound up to be 48% above. So he actually improved.
Yeah, decisive.
That's no surprising. People go for winner. It was a class act that my primo conceded after 20 precincts. I saw that. And the reason why he did that, this is Democrat against Democrat, so you're not going to look for any Democrat or Republican village. It's what we call an election night in the trend. When the first batch came in, he was behind 300. Then the next batch, it went to over 600. He knew it was in the trend. So that was a class act to concede at that time. If you notice in the States, a lot of times the media will call states when only 10, 20% are in.
Yeah.
They already see the trend.
Well, I mean, take California. As soon as the polls closed, everybody in the media said, okay, that's a blue state.
That's because you can put a yellow dog on the ballot and it's going to be a blue state in California. But that's my analysis. That's what happened. But you know what this is? This is matchups. It's like boxing or football when you match a corner with a receiver. It's matchups. The people had a choice between, do you put back a 72-year-old man who was in there 18 years ago, or do you keep a guy who's only been in there for a short time that's only about 40 years old? That's what people were thinking. It was just matchups. If it was Robert in his prime against St. Nicholas now, it would be a different story.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Let me ask you, because I want your thoughts on this as well. So how does this set up for the 2022? I mean, you know how politics works on Guam. The next election, while it might be 720 days away, people need to start thinking about what's going to happen in 2022. The campaign for governor, the campaigns for the 37th Guam legislature, and the campaign for our next representative in Washington, D.C. will start today. So your thoughts, what's the Republican response supposed to be? Who does the Republican Party have to start saying, all right, here's our plan, these are our guys, this is who we want in Adelup, this is who we want at the legislature, and this is who we want in D.C.?
Okay, and you're right, it's the day after the election starts. As far as the delegate, Malin was in for 8 terms, 16 years. After what happened last night, Mike St. Nicholas, considering his high ranking on the Finance Service Committee, if he gets through these ethics complaints, he could be in there for a while. What's going to happen is people just won't challenge him, or people that challenge him are very weak people. Not now as much as before. Members of Congress would stay in for a long time, single district, so he could be in there for a while. As far as the legislature, the Republicans got to start recruiting candidates. Mark Forbes was the best at that. That's how they won the majority back in the 28th and kept it in the 29th, recruiting candidates. They had to go to 4 former incumbents to get 4 of the 7 seats.
Yeah.
They got to start recruiting them. But Ray, when you only pay $55,000 and you're asked for money, people ask you for money, and you got to raise money every 2 years, and it's only a 2-year term, you're not going to get quality candidates. If we had 4-year terms staggered, and we paid $85,000, then you would get quality. But they got to recruit candidates. Now, as for governor, what the Republicans have to do is put up one candidate. That's what they have to do. If you look at the history of it, when you split it, they got to put up one candidate. Because, Ray Tenorio, I think, has given up his Guam residency by moving to the States. And Frank Uggan Jr., I understand, is teaching ROTC at either a junior college, or a high school, and he's good there in the States. He may lose his residency to qualify. It's possible this governor might go unopposed. That's what they have to do. Now, Eddie Calvo coming back, that's interesting. Usually when people come back, like Joe Ada and Carl Gutierrez, people say, no, you've already been governor. You had your 2 terms. Chamorros are sharing. The guy with 1 term lived out a 2nd term. But the difference here is the age. Eddie's a lot younger. He looks a lot younger. And because of COVID, not just this governor, but like other governors, they just don't look good in office. He would probably be the strongest one. I think this is different than Joe Ad or Carl Gutierrez because of age and the way he looks. That would be a strong candidate if Eddie Jerome Barza Calvo comes back. But besides that, big deal. And I tell you,
I know it would be a challenge to find somebody among the current bunch that could put up that kind of challenge, because this will end eventually, and people will not remember lockdowns, and they will not remember roadblocks and all of this kind of thing. So you got to have somebody out there that's got some name and somebody that will constantly remind everybody in 2022 what we've had to endure in 2020. 6:55 Paps, always a delight, and I hope the Republicans pay attention. I think you're giving up some good advice this morning.
All right, thank you.
All right, 6:56 in the morning, 888-8255-888-TALK. So you might have seen me, and I apologize if you did notice, going, Ray's not listening to Paps. He's looking at his phone. I was checking the phone. I was checking the phone because I wanted to see if there was an email from the Democrat Party, and there's still not. There's still not. I got a note here from the guys at Apple.
Did you refresh?
When you just pull the screen down.
It might have just came in right now.
Oh, Apple apparently has a new generation of Mac. Shop now. They're here. It says the new MacBook Air, 13-inch MacBook Pro, and Mac Mini, supercharged by the Apple M1 chip. Category-smashing speed, mind-bending graphics, and power efficiency, and battery life that defy belief. Welcome to the future of Mac. So I sent a note. I looked at this a little bit earlier, and I sent a note to our friends over at Beyond the Box, because I want to find out if they've got it, when they're getting it, what kind of prices we'll be able to see, and if they come in different colors than your standard MacBook kind of brushed aluminum thing.
Yeah.
But nothing here from the Democrats. I don't have any. You'd think that they would be among the first, saying, well, Robert Underwood has conceded, and Mike St. Nicholas has got the popular vote, and we'd like to say congratulations to everybody, and thank you to everybody that went out and voted, and for Mike St. Nicholas, and Jennifer, and Howard the Fensor, and everybody in the office. We wish you well. We wish you well. No statement from the governor's office yet either. I mean, closing in on Fox News at 7 o'clock in the morning. You'd think that there would be something coming out. I mean, how long can you stay mad at somebody? Okay, I'm going to ask a guy first before I ask Mana. Real Joe, how long can you stay mad at somebody?
Not long at all.
That is right. You know, it's like, I'm so mad. I'm going to punch you in the face, and then we're going to shake hands. We're going to go get beer, right?
Yep.
That's how guys do it. So, but how long can the Democrat Party stay mad at Mike St. Nicholas for the Unity Pledge?
I'm not mad. You just don't exist.
Oh my God! Oh my God! And so Mana will do one of two different things. This is Mana's way. She'll look right at you, but right through you, like you're not even there. Or if she doesn't feel like looking at you or trying to make any kind of eye-body contact with you, she'll just look in the opposite direction. Yeah, you can be right. You can be right there and talking to her, doing, "Hey, Mana, how's it going? Everything okay? Just want to, because you haven't been calling me or anything like that." And she just put you on ignore, like you don't exist. So that's the deal. So how long, if you were Howard Defense or anybody, if you were Sarah Netadog or Carlo Branch or whoever's in charge of the Democrat Party, Regine Lee or whoever, how long really could you stay mad at Mike St. Nicholas for not signing the Unity Pledge? I mean, it's a couple of years. Isn't it time to get over it and move on?
Yeah,
Don't
I
you think?
agree. Yeah.
So this is my proposal, ladies and gentlemen.
Because you remember, your job is to serve the people, and not yourself.
Yeah, simple. So I'm making the pitch here.
Get on with it and work together and do what you got to do.
Where's those guys at Enough Malik? We'll get them all together and we'll just have like a kumbaya and get the Democratic Party all unified again. I just think it's important, as we move forward into 2021. Is that where we are?
Yeah, we're on the way.
Thank you very much. 6:59. All right, really, can I just wait? Can I tell you, you inspired me yesterday. You inspired me.
Me?
Real Joe Cruz.
What?
No, he was standing. He took a picture of himself standing on the scale.
Oh God!
And
here we go.
I don't know.
Where is this picture? Is it on Facebook? I missed it.
No, you can make out body parts. Next time you do that, make sure that you're wearing something. All right.
It was so unintentional, man.
Under Armour here, dude. But anyway, you inspired me. This man is down to 160 pounds.
Yeah.
You've gotten rid of your COVID-19, bro.
Yeah, pretty much.
Way to do that. Anyway, so it's a combination
biking
of
like 50 miles a day.
exactly. It's biking, crystal methamphetamine. I'm sure
Mostly,
it's
meth and
the
heroin.
meth diet. As long just stop before your teeth fall out is my point. 7 o'clock in the morning. The radio station's KUSG. I got you 93.3, ladies and gentlemen. This is The Point.
Pushback in his own party on Lisa Brady, Fox News. Some top Republicans in Congress, including the Senate Majority Leader, expressing concern about President Trump's decision to pull more troops out of Iraq and Afghanistan. Acting Defense Chief Christopher Miller sending a message to terrorist organizations.
If the forces of terror, instability, division, and hate begin a deliberate campaign to disrupt our efforts, we stand ready to apply the capabilities required to thwart them.
In Afghanistan, the drawdown would cut the remaining troop level in half to 2,500. Texas Republican Congressman Mac Thornberry, ranking member of the House Armed Services Committee, calls additional reductions in terrorist areas a mistake. And in Afghanistan, he says the Taliban has done nothing in ongoing negotiations to justify the cut. The president's lawyers remain busy in court challenging the election, focusing today on efforts to stop results from being certified in Pennsylvania. Meantime, Georgia's top elections official says he has seen no sign of election tampering.
Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger says an audit conducted randomly has not shown evidence of voting machines being hacked. He said in a statement that he was glad but not surprised by the finding. The audit of the system bought by the state last year was done by a certified Alabama testing lab. The voting software is from Dominion Voting Systems, which President Trump retweeted was responsible for deleting millions of votes nationwide. Twitter flagged that tweet as disputed. Dominion categorically denies vote switching in a company statement. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
President Trump's controversial nominee for the Federal Reserve, Judy Shelton, has just been blocked in a Senate test as Vice President-elect Kamala Harris returned to the chamber to cast the deciding vote. 2 Republican senators also opposing Shelton. America is listening to Fox News.
Half a day. This is Clara Manglona from Security Title with an important warning. Wire fraud is real, and home buyers and sellers are one of the biggest targets, even on Guam. When sending money by wire transfer, be sure to confirm the wire instructions by phone, not email. In this case, it's good to be suspicious and know who you're dealing with. Let the professionals at Security Title work with you to minimize loss due to wire fraud. We are here to help.
Half a day, this is Carl from APL Guam. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future. Whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community, our dedicated team in Guam and on the U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
Thousands of convictions are being tossed out because of a chemist's misconduct in Massachusetts.
Suffolk County District Attorney Rachel Rollins says chemist Amy Dukin's evidence tampering tainted more than 100 cases in her jurisdiction. Convictions Dukin has been connected to, numbering in the thousands statewide, are still being thrown out. Dukin was sent to prison for 3 years for tampering. Prosecutors say while defendants may still be guilty of their crimes, there are minimum sentences that can be imposed. Dukin's crime was the subject of a Netflix documentary, How to Fix a Drug Scandal, released earlier this year.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Leaders of 3 health groups, the American Hospital, Medical, and Nurses Associations, are pressing the Trump administration to share COVID-19 information with the president-elect's transition team. In a letter to the White House today, the groups argue information on medication, testing supplies, protective equipment, hospital bed capacity, and other issues are necessary to save lives and ensure there's no lapse in the ability to care for patients. A Virginia professor steps down amid backlash over a politically charged post.
Reps for Virginia Wesleyan University in Norfolk announcing the resignation of professor and dean of the school's global campus, Paul Ewell, over a Facebook post calling supporters of President-elect Joe Biden ignorant, anti-American, and anti-Christian. Ewell telling Biden fans to unfriend him, accusing them of corrupting the nation and America's youth. In a statement to the school's newspaper, the Marlin Chronicle, he apologizes, saying we all need to be a little less quick to anger and a little more willing to forgive. And that certainly applies to me. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Stocks retreat. The Dow down 167 points at the closing bell, driven in part by renewed economic concerns. Retail sales rising less than expected in October. Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Contact tracing is key to containing COVID-19. That's why we're introducing the Guam COVID Alert app. According to Oxford University, for every 100 to 200 downloads of this app, 100 infections can be prevented and 1 life can be saved. Help save a life. Go to guamcovidalert.guam.gov or download the app from the App Store or Google Play now. Add your phone to the COVID fight. Help Guam stop COVID-19.
It's time to mix things up at Subway. Come in and get Subway's new barbecue chicken sandwich. Tender chicken strips topped with generous portions of sweet barbecue sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Add on crisp lettuce, onions, and tangy pickles on your favorite freshly baked bread. Perfect to satisfy just about anyone's flavor craving. It's Subway's new barbecue chicken sandwich, available for limited time only, so try it today. At Subway, make it what you want.
Becoming a homeowner can be a scary process, but it doesn't have to be, especially if you have the right guidance. Break through your fears and go to a real estate professional that will ensure a higher chance of success. That person is Lolita Kamet of RE/MAX Diamond Realty. Lolita also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, and military and corporate relocation. Don't be afraid. Call Lolita Kamet from RE/MAX Diamond Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
Off a day at 7:06, I'm Mana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news. On the point, Congressman Mike Nicholas will serve another term as Guam's congressman, this after taking the lead in the runoff election yesterday. In a late-night press conference, former Congressman Robert Underwood conceded and congratulated Delegate Nicholas on his victory, wishing him well in his future endeavors. The island's now seen its 100th COVID-related fatality, with yet another individual dying yesterday. A 58-year-old man had underlying health conditions and was complicated by COVID-19. Earlier in the day, a 73-year-old man became the island's 99th COVID-related death. He also had other illnesses complicated by COVID. There were 59 COVID cases confirmed yesterday. These are new cases. The Joint Information Center saying that this brings the island now to 6,234 total cases since testing started in March. There are now 1,796 cases in active isolation. Of the 59 recent confirmed cases, 19 were identified through contact tracing. 4 cases reported recent travel and were identified in quarantine. The Guam Environmental Protection Agency will resume its operations after an employee there tested positive. 4 of their employees were identified as close contacts and remain in self-quarantine. The offices have been disinfected, and EPA says it's business as usual today. We'll have more news right after this.
Top End Pest Control is who you call for all your pest control needs. Got a problem with roaches, ants, spiders, rodents, fleas, ticks, termites? No problem. They do it all. Top End Pest Control is a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business and HubZone certified. Serving Guam since 2012. Call them today for a quote, 487-5657, or email topendpest@gmail.com. Check them out on Facebook at Top End Pest Control and give them a like. Top End Pest Control for all your pest control needs.
Guam will soon get its share of COVID vaccines, but the Guam Memorial Hospital not clear just yet which one they're going to receive. Hospital Administrator Lillian Posadas in the Guam Daily News says that they had been expecting the vaccine produced by Pfizer, but she has received word that it may now be the one made by Moderna. The first doses will be given to frontline workers and healthcare workers, while the general public may be able to receive a vaccine sometime next year. The Department of Labor is putting out $7.1 million in pandemic unemployment assistance this week. Director Dave De La Sola says that this batch is for claims filed through September 16th. Meanwhile, the department also working to put out lost wage assistance checks, and that could come by November 24th. And the governor's office won't be imposing a 2 to 3 week lockdown, nor will they be imposing any fines for not wearing masks. And they're saying that there is a lot of news that's going around, so be cautious where you're getting your news from, because what's being circulated in social media is fake news. In the last couple of days, this has been circulated a bunch of in other places. saying that the governor is expected to declare an island-wide lockdown for at least 2 to 4 weeks. The Joint Information Center says that none of it is true. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
Wait, I need yours. Where's yours? Hold on a second, because I made a mess in my place here. High surf advisory in effect until later this afternoon along north-facing reefs. High risk of rip currents on those same north-facing reefs. I got mostly cloudy skies becoming partly cloudy afternoon. Isolated showers in the forecast as well. East winds up to 15 miles an hour. Daytime highs are going to be 88 degrees with the heat index 90. Partly cloudy tonight and isolated showers after sunset. Sunset will be at 5:50. Hashtag tell the others. And sunrise tomorrow morning should be about 6:21, 6:22. 7:10 in the morning. That's news and weather together on The Point.
Win a staycation getaway with 76 Circle K. Enter to win a 2-night stay in the luxurious Tsubaki Tower with breakfast at the Casa Oceano and an hour of pure bliss at the Spa Ayala for 2. And then choose your adventure. A 3-hour ocean escapade with Shut Up and Fish, the premier ocean tour service, or take a heart-pounding water adventure and go jet skiing with Joe's Jet Ski. Just purchase $30 or more in fuel at 76 Circle K for a chance to win. Visit 76 Circle K today and win the staycation of a lifetime. Conditions apply. See store for details.
Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro in Hagåtña and Mezcla Dos Upper Tumon are now open for takeout and delivery services. For more information, call now at 479-2652 or 3 or Mezcla Dos at 646-6295. Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro brings you island hospitality with the true taste of modern Chamorro cuisine at the comfort of your own home. They take your local favorite dishes and serve them with extra flair you will only find at Mezcla. Mezcla, a true taste of Guam.
That's me, bro. Standing by, ready to go. Talking about my friends over at Security Title. Ron and Ken there waiting for you. Ron and Kim, not Ken. There's no. As far as I know, there's no Ken. Well, Ken over at Security. Ron and Kim. So call them up. If you're buying a house or you're selling a house and want to make sure that the process goes smoothly, or you need it to go secretly, these guys know how to keep things on the DL, if you know what I mean. I'll bet you they know who that 24-year-old girl is. It's going to stay in my head all day. All right. So wait. Anyway, give them a call over at Security Title for if you are doing buying and selling and stuff like that. Nanbo Insurance in Hagåtña and the ITC building are open 8:30 until 5:30 Monday through Friday. You don't have to make an appointment. They love walk-ins. That's part of the business. For inquiries, you can find them at nanbo.com or call them. Use the phone thing at 477-9754.
The Ray Gibson Show, bringing you closer to the action. This is The Point, Guam's FM News Talk Superstation.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Guys from Post Canteen are saying thanks very much to everybody in the morning show here. We helped them raise, I don't know, $3,000 or something like that. And
wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
For all, help out the vet community here on Guam, and somebody's got that new gun, the Ruger, that is so sweet. Hope the Pew Pew is coming up the Sunday right after Thanksgiving. So we get the Thursday, and then do whatever it is that you're going to do on buy rounds on Friday, and then get ready for Pew Pew on Sunday, 11 o'clock down at the PD range. Black Sunday Pew is the name of it. Now I've got another PSA. John Ananich has sent me on the whatchamacallit, on the messenger. He has sent me cats, and he's asking if anybody wants cats or a cat. Apparently, he's got some neighborhood strays. John, if you're leaving food outside for them, they're not strays. Those are your cats. And I don't know what you're going to do about all of that. But they do look like they're cute. And there is an orange one, an orange tabby in there that I would love to have. I would love to have.
Yeah.
But I just, you know what? And so if you want cats. And there must be a whole bunch of them, because I've been getting a whole lot of offers to adopt a cat recently, but there must be a whole bunch of them. If you're looking for one, if you've missed the offers, find John. You can right-click on just John Ananich, Ananich, on Facebook, and he'll be happy to send you out and come on over and grab one of these cats.
Cat? I'm not allowed to have cats at home, but
yeah, so same here.
Are those cats Democrats or Republicans?
They're unified. They're all in the same place. So probably Republicans.
Okay.
Democrats, they would have had it would be the cool cats would be over here, and then the ones that didn't sign the Unity Pledge cats would be over there.
A lot of hissing.
Yeah, a lot of hissing. like that.
But back to my question.
No office cats. I'm sorry about that.
How about outside?
There might already be some. There might already be a couple of outside cats floating around here. And John, I'd love to help you out and adopt one of those neighborhood cats of yours. But the thing is, I like the way my house smells right now.
Oh yeah.
And I like my black clothes without all of the extra fur.
Yeah.
John goes outside and he's like, "Here I am," and all the cats come.
Here I am, kitty cat, come to me. I got Kimball's here for you. 7:14 in the morning. 888-825-5888-TA. Okay, Jerry Roberts going to be in the studio in just a little bit. I think right now might be a good time to take a look at what happened on the markets. Everybody all closed up. Is that what's happening? The S&P 5. I thought we were moving up. I thought that everybody was excited about Moderna and their what is it? mRNA 1273 vaccine. That's the one. That's the one. They're going to give that to all of the politicians first. I'm going to wait 10 months and see if any lizard babies are born, and if so, maybe I'm not going to go ahead and take the vaccine when they first offer it to me. Anyways, S&P 500 off by 17 points, 3609. I got the Nasdaq at 11,899, 24 points in the red. Dow Jones Industrial Average sinks 167 points to close at 29,783. FTSE is down. Nikkei is up by 100 points. So is the Hang Seng by about 33 points. Shanghai is off, and I got the DAX sinking by about 5.14 points as well. Big winners in the Dow. Let me take a look and see who we got. Is not too far out from yesterday. Boeing, Salesforce.com, Merck & Company, Nike, and Goldman Sachs is coming up. Now, why is Nike in the top 5 on the Dow? What's going on?
Shoes, man.
Well, I know it's shoes, but
people are scoring shoes, man.
Trying to think if they've got. I just got my most recent edition of Runner's World, and there's runners out there that are listening, and I don't recognize many of the names that I'm looking at in some of these ads. I mean, it used to be had the standard numbers. You get your Nikes, your Adidas, your New Balance, and things like that. And there's just this whole wave of others that I'm looking at, and they all have this big cushiony sole on it.
Yeah, it's
which
Chinese.
I'm not crazy about just yet. I need to talk to somebody like Dave Torrey about all of that stuff. But we'll see.
Bitcoin's up too, though.
Was 18,000 yesterday?
It's 17.64 right now.
17.654. Wait, where was it yesterday?
Yesterday it was at 15.
No, was it 15, Jerry? It was 16. Okay,
16,
so it's up to so it was at 16s yesterday, and today it's at
17,654.
All right, not bad. Other commodities, we take a look at. Let me see where oil is. Oil trading at $41.40. Not a whole lot happening here, and not a whole lot of excitement in the oil market, which is why we're seeing the numbers trading in such a narrow range these days. 7:17 in the morning. Jerry Roberts is in the studio. Jay Rojas, if you're watching. Oh, by the way, Sarah Garin is online. I haven't had a chance to go through the names, but I did see Sarah's name in there, so we all like to say, "Hi, Sarah, you look so pretty today."
Sarah.
So nice to see you online here this morning. Jerry Roberts in the studio. You're looking pretty as well, wearing Jay Rojas's Department of Environmental Health. I'm sorry, don't expect help hat.
Yeah, it's a bad hair day, so I'm.
Is it? Were you worried about getting caught in the rain outside? Is it raining?
No, I cut myself off shaving.
Oh,
can I get some sympathy?
So. It's not on his face, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Did you turn me into Stitch Fix?
I might have turned you on to the concept of Stitch Fix, the boxing
not turn
service.
Me on. Did you turn me in?
No, I did not. No, I don't do that. I don't do that. Did you get a thing? I might have posted a link.
See this?
Yeah.
Where was it?
Is it the email from the Democratic Party of Guam?
Stitch
congratulating
Fix.
Mike St.
No, it was some Stitch Fix.
Yeah.
And basically, it says this is what you need. It says, if we can make someone like Ray Gibson look good, imagine what we can do for you.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
But no, there is a thing I can on Stitch Fix. I can do a copy paste out in email and out in social media.
20% or something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
you get if I can get people to sign up,
you get money.
But I don't generally do that. To people.
Oh, okay.
But Stitch Fix is a cool stuff. You like the shirt? If you're looking at the shirt going, hey, that's kind of happening.
That's kind of happening.
Works with the brown pants that you're wearing. It's the
like
entire ensemble is from Stitch Fix.
And the shirts go for like what, $50?
Okay, so the retail might be $50, right? But if you take everything that's in the box, and I've never returned anything, if you keep everything in the box, then it comes. It's pretty substantial. So every
Define
2 months,
substantial.
$40-$50 off, something like that.
No, I mean, is this a $400 deal or $500 deal?
It depends how often you get a shipment. So I get a shipment every 2 months, and it usually runs about $200. Depending on what they put in there. So, if, sometimes it's fancy name brands, sometimes it's not, but they're all generally good-looking clothes. I love these boxing services.
They turn you from dork to dynamo.
Absolutely. There's another one that I really like, but you can't get them here, and it's called Bespoke, and so it's clothes and like men's accessories that are really kind of beard stuff, knives, pocket knives, and little small tools.
Switchblades and stuff,
everybody's got a side hustle. Everybody's got some kind of side hustle. Some people, they work for a living, sell drugs on the side. There's a guy in, where's this guy? New York, in the Hudson Valley, and he will, for a fee, sharpen your pencils. So you sent...
Good idea.
As I said, Bespoke, right? Yeah. You send him David Rees of Artisanal Pencil Sharpening in New York's Hudson Valley. He'll sell you a pencil, whittle it to perfection before returning it to you with the shavings and a certificate of authenticity, and it's $100. Which and you just know he's got customers. He's probably Nancy Pelosi with her gourmet ice cream going. I need a pencil.
Sounds like a laundering scam.
I'll look it up while Jerry is doing the
It's
extra
like
point.
Breaking Bad stuff here.
And a few other things. So the election, Jerry Roberts, all done now except for the recount in Gigo to determine the winner up there. The election between Uncle Robert and Mike Nicholas overnight. Your thoughts?
I kind of figured it would turn out the way it did. I congratulate both candidates for waging their campaigns. And the people have spoken, and they've returned to Mr. San Nicolas to Washington, D.C., and okay,
there you go.
So now we move forward.
Absolutely, and I'd like to get on, not necessarily my services, because anytime I've ever gotten involved between people and their disagreements, it's always gone south. So I'm going to volunteer Jerry Roberts to sit down with members of the Democratic Party, and let's talk about rebuilding. Let's didn't Uncle Robert run as a rebuilder once upon a time?
Yeah.
Maybe now this what we ought to be thinking about doing is rebuilding the Democrat Party. Now that the race is over, because it is 7:21. And let me just check my email again to see if I've gotten the letter from the Democrat Party of Guam congratulating Mike Nicholas. Nothing.
Hang on a second.
Did you have one?
I got something.
You might have something in yours
from the Democrats that said, Jerry, regarding us sitting down with you. Fat chance. That's what it says.
I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. The election is over. You would think that would be that Robert Underwood's concession would be followed immediately by some kind of a statement by the Democratic Party, because fact of the matter is a Democrat won the seat to Washington, D.C. You'd think they'd be harping on that a little bit more. You'd think they'd be banging the Democratic drum.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Maybe this is a time, since the election is over, maybe we are what? How many? We're 3 years into this now?
Which one?
Into this battle, 2 years. We're 2 years into this. I didn't sign the thing, so you hate me.
Yes.
Deal, right?
Yes.
Okay. So maybe we're past the point where we ought to be talking about this anymore. Yeah. Maybe you want to just get together over coffee or
gather
something.
them all. Yeah. How would you do that? I mean, you've got two employees that are otherwise really, really good, and they just fight each other all the time. Let me turn this into an opportunity for an extra point lesson. Let's say you got 2-star employees, people that are really, really productive, and they're great for the company, but they just can't get along. What do you do, boss?
Cry. No, what you have to have willing parties who want to sit down first of all. I mean that's where you start with, who have their eyes on the future and the direction of the organization, and who both want to be a part of it. There has to be that as a starting point. Then you can have conversations. If you don't have that, where you're saying to yourself, I know this guy's going to, or this woman is going to be here. She'll be a part of the team. She's a good member of the team. I don't agree with everything she does, but I know she's going to be here, and she's productive, and I want her here. Okay? If both parties can look at each other and say that, that's a good starting point.
So you just build from there.
You both have to understand. Neither one of you is going anywhere.
Yeah.
So do you want to beat on each other for the next 2 years? to the detriment of the organization, Democratic Party, because there's another election 2 years from now. And if you do this in public long enough, maybe some of those votes, although Guam's a kind of an interesting place in how people vote, families and stuff like that, some of those votes may decide, these guys really don't have
What
it
a bunch of
together
clowns.
anymore.
I'm moving over.
We may, let me talk about somebody else here. Maybe I'll vote for somebody else this time. Eventually, it hurts you. Even if you don't think so now, eventually that kind of problem in the organization festers, and some people, that they jump ship. It doesn't do anybody any good. This is the time for that side of the Democratic Party, both sides of the party, the San Nicolas side, the Leon Guerrero Underwood side, to sit down and say enough is enough. Yep. Okay, let's figure out how we're going to live together and move forward.
Because Adelup is up for grabs in 2 years. The 37th Guam legislature needs to be seated. We need to figure out who's going to be running and sitting down in that one. And then you've got the congressional race that we get to do all over again.
Next election is going to be absolutely wild.
Oh, I got that feeling.
So, I mean, now's the time. If you have fences that need to be mended, mend them now, because it'll give you a 2-year run up to the next election where you're more or less cohesive and you got a chance. That
is probably the soberest and best advice that you're going to get on the program all morning long. Because as soon as Jerry leaves, I'm going to go right back to giving him gas for it. Because it is just the funniest thing in the world to me that this many hours has passed without a statement. Now, Jose Martinez writes this morning. He says, I found it in a spam folder. I got a press release in the Democratic Party. The voters of Guam have spoken. It says, and elected Mike San Nicolas to leave the island. He says he found it in his spam folder. I just checked my spam folder. There's nothing in there. It didn't, as far as I know, didn't go straight to trash. Ben Almondra says we need a new Democrat Party, baby. We need a new Democrat Party. 7:26, Jerry Roberts is in the studio. Must be time for this morning's Extra Point, being brought to you by Guan Insurance Services and the guys over at First Hawaiian Bank. Jerry?
Have you ever considered the term linchpin when it comes to the job you do, the organization you're with, and the significance involved? We'll toss that around next on the Extra Point.
When's the last time you looked at your homeowner's insurance?
We buy a homeowner's policy and never give it another thought until something happens. Life brings changes, and our coverage needs can change. The smart thing to do is get the answers and level up our insurance to make sure we're totally protected.
That's the Insurance Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today by calling Guahan Insurance Services at 475-1162 or visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center in Tamuning.
Linchpin. If you go to the dictionary, one of the definitions you'll find is a central cohesive element. Central, in the middle of things. Cohesive, you keep things together, keep them moving. It's a good way to describe what we're going to be talking about today. According to author Seth Godin, who wrote a book with the title Linchpin, every successful organization has at least one linchpin. Some have dozens. He says some even have thousands if they're big enough. The linchpin is the essential element, the person who holds part of the operation together. Without the linchpin, things fall apart. When I was hired to do the morning show on KUAM and called it the J.Q. Fanihi Show, the owner of the station, a man named Bob Berger, told me a morning show, Ray will appreciate this, is supposed to generate 55% of the total station revenues. He said, you're the linchpin to us hitting the target. In a few words, he had totally changed my perspective. It wasn't just about winning the morning as a disc jockey. It was about total revenue and winning all day long. He had a bigger vision than the one I had. I gave it all I had to live up to the linchpin description. I'll fast forward a bit. After helping launch K57, John Anderson and I parted ways, and I returned to KUAM. It was there that I learned what a linchpin really was, as the station fell into financial trouble and eventually filed for Chapter 11, bankruptcy protection. From then on, it was a struggle just to stay on the air and stay in business. Paydays were often dicey, as money was tight, and the station also owed money to vendors. Somehow, we made it through each challenge, and this was due to a lady who exemplified that word linchpin, a lady named Patty Fausto. She had come to KUAM as a teenager and stayed, I think, for over 30 years. She knew a lot of people on island, and they knew her. When the chips were down, those relationships became all important. When people tried to collect money the station owed, Patty knew who to call to get more time. When it looked like payroll wasn't going to be possible, She could jump on the phone and with a few calls get enough advertising invoices paid so KUAM's employees could get paid. Whatever anybody needed, they took it to Patty. She struggled with the pressure, with the constant balancing act to keep things together. At the same time, she was raising two great kids, Patrick and Janet. She was also their linchpin. Eventually, I left the station and moved off island. Patty held on until the station was sold to the Calvo family a year or two later. We ran into each other a couple of times after I returned to Guam, and I regret we didn't spend more time. Patty passed away a few months ago. If you've got a Patty Fausto-type linchpin where you work, take a moment today and just thank them for what they do, for all they do. Thank them for the things you know about, and thank them for the things you probably know nothing about. Linchpins, like Patty, and like the linchpins you know, are absolutely indispensable, but they would never see themselves that way. Being a linchpin, being in the middle of everything, being the cohesive element, the glue, it's just who they are. Take that time today to appreciate them. Stop by their desk or call them. Let them know that you couldn't get along without them. That's the extra point. Be responsible and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
You couldn't have picked a better person. Enrico Blancaflor is loving the Guam radio history lesson. Jeff Jam's listening on and giving you the thumbs up for that. That's another home run. Jerry Roberts in the extra point. Guahan Insurance Services. Thank you for putting him on the air along with First Hawaiian Bank. It's 7:30 and time for our next look at headline news. If you missed all the big stories, Manu will recap for you. Lolita Kemet of Remax Diamond Realty brings you 7:30 newscast for your real estate needs. She's standing by to help. 688-6743. Again, 688-6743. Got varmints in the house? Got varmints near the house that John Ananich's cats aren't taking care of? Call in the professionals. Call in the professionals over at Top End Pest Control. Their number is 487-5657. That's 487-5657. Now with news, Mana Silva Tyron.
The island's now seen 100 COVID-related deaths. A 58-year-old man died yesterday with underlying health conditions that were complicated by COVID. Earlier in the day, the island also saw its 99th COVID-related death. It was a 73-year-old man. Both died at GMH with underlying health conditions. Yesterday's positive number was at 59. 19 cases identified through contact tracing. 4 others reported recent travel and were identified in quarantine. And the Joint Information Center warning of fake news that warns of a potential 2 to 4 week lockdown and a $2,000 fine for not wearing a mask. The Joint Information Center says that none of the media circulations are true, and people are urged to be cautious where they're getting their information from and share only verified and official information regarding COVID. And Congressman Mike Nicholas will be headed back to Washington after he took the lead in a runoff yesterday. His contender, former Congressman Robert Underwood, conceded yesterday and congratulated Delegate St. Nicholas on his victory, wishing him well in his future endeavors. And those are your headlines right here on The Point.
Gotcha. A couple of other notes here. Hannah Gamboa, that's Mrs. Commissioner, is noting traffic into Big Navy is horrible. That includes the back gate up along Seashore Drive. Jerome McDonald saying, nice story, Jerry Robert. Thank you very much for sharing this. Jerome saying, Ismail Linchpin, the person who gets stuck doing everybody else's job. Yeah, sounds like Patty. And Tommy Bernardo said, yep, Patty was the best. Sign him Aussie, Jerry. 7:32 in the morning, and we'll be right back at look at traffic down at Big Navy and all kinds of other points.
Half a day. This is Clara Manglona from Security Title with an important warning. Wire fraud is real, and home buyers and sellers are one of the biggest targets, even on Guam. When sending money by wire transfer, be sure to confirm the wire instructions by phone, not email. In this case, it's good to be suspicious and know who you're dealing with. Let the professionals at Security Title work with you to minimize loss due to wire fraud. We are here to help.
888-8255-888-TALK is my telephone number. And earlier, Mana Silva Tyron was asking about goodies from the guys over at KFC this year. She needs to put the set together. You might need to find it on eBay and see if there's anybody else working it. Frank Cruz says, sorry, no dishes this year as many of the factories that make them are closed. Yeah, so they are celebrating their 45th anniversary with a free cake, which goes in the holiday family meal. I'll get you details on that. In the meantime, they've got breakfast all warmed up and ready to go for you over at the nearest KFC. AM waffles and sausage. We've got a platter full of chicken fried steak, white gravy, and white rice. It's the yum stuff. Find it this morning for breakfast over at KFC. Ray Gibson Show is also brought to you by American President Lines, a global presence with a local home.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, launch! That's just what we did with our new state-of-the-art mobile banking app as we celebrate 66 years of serving our island communities. It's loaded with a ton of new user-friendly features, including remote deposit capture. It's another way of saying you don't have to come to the bank to go to the bank. And if you want to come to the bank, we're happy to see your smiling face as long as you're wearing a mask. And we don't have long lines. Bank Pacific Rosebud branches, we place roots, and we're rooting for you. Member FDIC.
7:34, 7:35 in the morning. Taking a look at the traffic gizmo right now to see what it's like out there, and the guy's absolutely right. Looking at the ugly traffic, getting into the Big Navy in Sumai. Also a little bit of traffic around the bend just before you get to Pizza Hut on route. What is that? Route 2? Yeah, it is. So expect some delays in Sumai right now. Don't see a whole lot of backed up traffic on Shoreline Drive just yet. But the guy says you expect some delays through there into and out of the downtown and Gutney area. Nothing major, just some intersection traffic. I'm seeing some traffic in front of Navy Hospital and Guam High because Guam High is back in session. They put the kids back in school. COVID-19, we're the military, and they're not afraid of that. So the other spots that we're reporting some difficulties here. The intersection of 10 and 15 on Route 10 over by the church and the mayor's office. Expect some delays. 8, 10, and 16 running a little bit busy. And then all of the intersections into and out of Agana on Route 8 all seem to be running very, very busy. Busier than normal here this morning. So expect some delays through there as well. I'm going to zoom out and see if I can go all the way up north. Anderson Air Force Base running fairly clear here this morning. 7:35. That's right now traffic. This is The Point.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
Okay, Google. Hey, Siri. Hi, Bixby.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Open the Point app. Opening.
Live stream, on demand, swap stations, check out the visual radio. Get the free app available on the App Store and Google Play, or go to thepoint.gu.
Are we getting any more details on the Bayview break-in? That's what we're calling it, the Bayview quarantine break-in.
No, I think Candid had the most complete story there.
Okay, so we're...
Because they had official sources from the inside.
Mm-hmm. Okay. For unofficial sources from the inside. 7:36, 7:37 in the morning, 888-8255, 888-TALK. Now, as soon as I started getting word, about 11 o'clock yesterday, about some of these lockdown rumors, oh my God, 2 to 4 weeks, going to be locked down, all industries, $2,000 mask fine violation, blah, 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 blah. I kind of looked at them and I thought, this is what junk. What is fake news, guys? Fake news. And I was a little upset. And I think it would be great to be able to find the source of some of that panic news that was fake news that was floating around. That ought to be. And you know how I am. I try not to do crazy ideas like this. But in a pandemic time like this, that ought to be worthy of a criminal violation. I think we ought to find out, do whatever it takes to sort that out, the presidential election and who it was that was starting to circulate that rumor in the social medias and on the WhatsApp. Find out where the genesis is and find that person and throw them in jail. Absolutely throw them in jail for inciting in some people a panic. Is it possible that there were fewer people going to the polls yesterday because they believed that crap and went shopping? And I'll tell you what, even though I knew, and I'd already communicated with Crystal Paco at 11:15, something like that. I said, there's stuff floating around. You need to put some fire on this. And so they eventually did. But in the meantime, there was still in my head the notion that maybe I'll swing by Payless on the way home, get an extra toilet paper and Spam and every kind of beer they have, just in case. just in case that, because you never know what's going to happen in the future.
The fact that you know people are doing that makes you want to do it just
even more,
because they're going to buy it all, and you're going to be struggling to find it in
the future. And that's why I
regardless
think,
of whether or not there's a lockdown.
You got to find out who send this stuff out and put the police on them and the Attorney General. In the meantime, the Attorney General's office is going to be focused on something more important, and that is the possible prosecution of somebody that actually broke into a quarantine hotel to hang out with the boyfriend. But apparently this is not the wife of the boyfriend.
Well, I don't know where any of that other information came from.
Well, it came from you 20 minutes ago.
The wife part didn't come from me. That came from somebody posting.
Is it somebody else? Oh, that was Real Joe. Joe said that.
Okay. Caller, yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to attribute that to you. 20 away from 8 o'clock in the morning. There could be some money in your future. Dave Del Sol, I got a note from Director Cho yesterday. The real director of the Department of Labor is on the line, Dave Del Sol. Good morning, Dave. I understand that they're going to be writing some checks over at the Department of Administration.
Yes, we are. And first off, it wasn't me. I didn't release any information that wasn't cleared through JIC.
Absolutely, because that's the way it is. And even when the JIC information came out and I posted it, people looked at it and said, "Well, how do you know it's fake news?" And I said, "Because see, the logos at the top of the note are the governor's office and the Department of Homeland Security and Civil Defense. That's how you know that this might be official information. What you were reading about."
I got at least a half a dozen texts, people asking me, "Is this true? Is this true?" So it was very disruptive yesterday.
Yeah.
For the routine. But
I can't tell you how many people probably got out of the line over at Ross in order to go and buy 4 weeks worth of food.
Oh my gosh, that's going to cost somebody some time.
Amen to that. Amen. So tell me about some money going out.
Well, we have $7.1 million that is being processed at DOA right now, and those checks and deposits should be going out by the end of this week, early this weekend, in time for your Thanksgiving shopping.
Mana was right. Mana said, and I said, no, the money's not going to be in the bank accounts in time.
Yeah.
Dave Del Sol says that's the
Black
push.
Friday.
Black Friday shop, which is why there's not going to be a lockdown, because we get all this money going out and has been going out, and people have got some pent up spend in them, huh?
Well, that's not, that just happens to be a coincidence. The reason why we batched it today is because next week, this whole week, we closed down 311 and we're hitting the 20-some thousand names of potential LWA payment claimants. We're sanitizing that whole list, making sure the fraud and overpayments are out of there, because we're going to try to batch that next Tuesday. All $1,800 all at one shot, and so that is a separate run, because that's a separate program, and I didn't want to have the PUA people wait for another week after that, so we figured we'll do PUA now, and then we'll try to do the LWA if everything goes well with us cleaning the report of all claimants that are eligible for LWA. So we're hitting that hard. We have a whole team of people, all hands on deck, and we're working to get that list ready for this weekend so that the programmers can get it and upload it, run the batch on Tuesday, and then we can get that payment register and take a second look to make sure before we release it for allotment drawdown, to make sure that everything is as clean as possible and the fraud is eliminated, and then that will be sent out as far.
I think that's a good idea. I think that's a good idea. So we've got PUA money that can go out. So we'll go ahead and send that batch and finalize and make as perfect as possible the LWA, the lost wages allotments, and get those out in a separate check. So members in those programs should be expecting a couple of series of checks and a couple of big deposits going into their accounts in the next few days.
Yes, and hopefully if everything goes well, keep our fingers crossed, then the LWA $1,800 will hit everybody just in time for the holidays.
All right, now I'm sorry. Now that money, as I'm thinking about it in my head, that money there, that's going to be one single check on the LWAs. Is that correct? Is that what you guys finally decided?
Yes. Yes, it was just too much work for the programmers. Remember, this was not in their scope of work.
No, I got it.
So they're doing it on the side for us, just out of courtesy and nice. They're not charging us anything, but it is a lot of work to run a separate program that works through our PUA program, and we have to ensure that, like I said, it's clean, it's good, and I do want to mention that we haven't gotten the waiver for our cost share, and that was causing a lot of the delays. But we met with the Gov. FEMA sent some letters. We met all the financial people, and she's the one that gave us the green light to go ahead, during these times to take the risk and send it out. And so once she gave me that order, we're hitting it hard, and we're going to try to get that money out as she wishes. So I want to thank her for taking that risk and moving forward without the waiver, because we're not out of the woods 100% with the, it could be anywhere from $11-12 million or more of the cost share to run it. But FEMA agreed to go ahead and let us do it, and they're going to work on getting that waiver from the president, and I will continue to work it, and we'll just keep getting this money out and helping the people, because they're starting to expire out of my program starting next month.
Right. And that's something that we're critically aware of, and there are people, if you are getting a PUA check, if you're getting an LWA check, don't spend it all at once, guys, because there might not be anything on the other side. Once your 39 weeks have expired, then don't bother calling, because your time in the program has expired. Everybody else's is going to come in turn. The money runs out officially in the first of the year, although there'll still be some checks that being honored and sent out in the beginnings of all of that, in the beginning of next year. But even that is going to expire at the end of your 39th week.
You're right, and unfortunately, it's looking like a new stimulus, if there's anything, won't happen until the changeover. And we don't know when, that'll be. That'll be somewhere in the latter part of January when they meet. It could be in February when it passes, when the money gets put out. At the earliest, we may not see anything until March, depending on what they do. So even if there's another stimulus passed, it could take months for Guam to get their share and get it worked out, and to get it loaded, and to get it ready to be processed. And that's if they pass the same thing.
If they pass the same thing, and I don't know that they're going to pass the same thing. I'm thinking that they might be targeting industries and other distressed or stressed individuals as opposed to everybody. Fact of the matter is, and my guess is that the administration, the Republicans in the Senate, want to say, okay, that's as much as we can give you right now. You need to concentrate on opening your own home economies in your own states and territories.
Anything is possible. That's one thing.
But I don't know. That's the easier read. 746, 747. Dave Del Solo, I appreciate your time. As you mentioned, though, 311 is no longer being manned right now while you're getting everything ready. How do people that need to get a hold of you talk to Department of Labor if there's no 311 gateway?
Well, we have our regular numbers, but if they can at all wait until next week, I would appreciate it, as we are trying to get this monumental task up and out the door. So it's just for this week, and then next week everything will go back to normal.
All right, gotcha. Dave Del Solo from the Department of Labor. Certainly appreciate your time. I'll talk to you soon.
Look forward to it.
All right, buddy. 747.
Bye, Mana.
Bye, Dave.
888-255-88-TALK is the telephone number around here. You know what? There's some bright spots. I give the administration a hard time from time to time, but there are some bright spots in the Department of Administration. I like to think that Dave is, just came in basically to be the director of the Department of Labor, and turns out to be the guy that is the linchpin, the throughput of almost $1 billion in PUA and FPUC and now LWA dollars. Certainly a more gargantuan task than the one that he originally signed up for. And then you get people like Maria Pangilinan, who probably should have just done 2 elections, and now has been able to wrangle the third one now. And congratulations to Mike St. Nicholas, won the runoff election against Uncle Robert yesterday. Interesting numbers. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. My buddy Kellis is on the line. Kellis, I was thinking about you yesterday while I was doing my exercises and pondering just how blessed I am. Thank you for reminding me from time to time that I am.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get on with Dave or ask Dave
Next time that happens, because I didn't get that in the message from Real Joe.
No one picked up. I was kept trying to get a hold of Joe to say, come on, let me just ask that question. Because, that was it. I just wanted to find out where I can go because all the numbers that I've been given to call, they don't answer the phone.
Right. If it is
I have like 12 telephone numbers that don't answer.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, I'm going to write down your number because I can see it on the screener, and okay. I will send it to Dave, and if it's 911 urgent, I'll let him know it's 911 urgent, and he'll see if he can get a member of staff to put some electricity on it.
Well, it's not 911 urgent, but if I don't hear from him, I'm going to kill your power.
Oh, then it is 911 urgent here. I don't know about that kind of thing, but I will. I'll pass along your number to Dave and see if we can get somebody somebody put some attention on your issues. Anything? Can you talk about it on the air? What kind of issues you're having with the program?
My issue is very simple. I originally went to the States to take the kids to Disney World, and then when we came back, we were going to spend a little time in Washington State. And then they closed it. So we were supposed to come back in March, and we came back in September.
Okay.
So I was there from March until September, and then but I kept receiving calls. I was getting jobs, and I was doing stuff from Washington State. I was able to call in some stuff, but. Yeah. So
are you asking about your eligibility during that time?
I'm asking about my eligibility because, I'm a retiree. I'm an owner, not, I'm saying. I'm just trying to see what I'm eligible for.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you're right. It doesn't sound like 911 emergency, but there could be some money that you were eligible for, and I'll see what I can do. But I'll send him your number a little bit later on this morning.
Okay.
All right. All right,
you have a blessed day.
I intend to. 7:50 in the morning, 888-825-5888-TALK. And there are 1,000,001 questions like that, as you can imagine. 35,000, 30 to 37,000 people that are unemployed or underemployed in these very interesting times that we've got here. And one of the issues that Dave and I were talking about, and if this applies to you, and you get a couple of PUA checks between here and the end of November, early December, do not spend them in one place. Dave's writing to me right now. Kelly says you're not eligible. You had to be on island for that. But I'll give you I'll give him your number anyway, and he can deliver the bad news in person. But people at the 39th week of their higher Guam time, you're about to be getting your last checks here. So don't spend them all in one place. I know maybe you're looking at that bush cutter, huh? You're looking at bush cutter. I need a bush cutter. I don't have any hedges, but that hedge trimmer, I might need that one of these days. And you're thinking maybe I'm gonna score one of those things. Hold off. You know what? Rent it. Rent East West Rental. Go to East West. If you need it, rent it from there. And I'm trying to convince myself to do the same thing. I've been telling you I need to get some water blasting done over at the house. My water blaster's on the fritz because I got dirty water going into the manifolds, and I was thinking about buying a new one. And then it occurred to me, wait a second, I can go see Jim Adkins over at the place and see if I can just rent one of those things for a couple of days. Take care of the roof, take care of the sidewalks, take care of the outside walls, and start doing my painting. But I'm concerned about this. It was a story. We didn't talk about it very much yesterday. In fact, I might not have talked about it at all. But there is a story floating around about mandatory trash collections. The governor is entertaining the concept. Okay, the guys over at have you seen this? The guys over at GSWA, Guam Solid Waste Authority, it's COVID-19 times. A lot of businesses that they would normally be getting trash from, and the contractors that pick up that trash aren't in business anymore, not generating all that trash anymore. So they called up GSWA and said, "We don't need your services," and for the contractors that are picking up, we don't need yours either. So these guys are going to be short $1 million+ And how do we recover that? Well, a little bit more trash coming out of the residential, but we're capped at about 30. So they would need to find more trash subscribers. They would need to find more residential trash customers to make up for that split. Well, there's a lot of people that are not, for whatever reason, part of the GSWA family. I am a member of that family. Real Joe, they pick up your trash every month?
They do.
No, I said, Monticello Tire, come to your place every weekend and pick up the trash, right? So imagine that there's 3 of us. But there's 7 other people that we know that don't get trash service. So now they're thinking, well, maybe if we made it mandatory for everybody, mandatory $30 a month bill, $30.38, thanks, Tello, for the additional for the beautiful village of Telefofo and the other affected areas. So they're thinking maybe we'll make it mandatory, and that will take care of all of the other expenses that we've got. It'll take care of the split that we've got. Shut up. Oh my God! How is it that Siri will just start dictating every once in a while? I don't understand. I don't understand apples. Anyway, so that's the question that I have in my head, though, is a lot of people that aren't members of the GSWA family. You know why? Because they can't afford the extra $30.
And it's free to toss it in the backyard.
And it's free to toss it.
Unfortunately.
Free to toss it in the backyard, down Nevermind Road, down in Two Lovers Point, and places like that. And it's a problem. But even if they said, okay, it's mandatory, how many of these families are going to be able to come in? Are they talking about making it mandatory and everybody signs up? Or will it be something where we get an increase in taxes somewhere and
that's the way I read it. I read that to mean that she would want to require solid waste to pick up everybody's trash, maybe regardless of their ability to pay. That's the way I kind of understood it, and I don't know if it's going to be like
we tried it that way for decades.
I remember.
Yeah, and the original trash service was terrible. It was awful. Derelict vehicles. They would miss entire days of pickups, and we didn't have enough money to take care of covering over the dirt over at the dump and all of those kinds of things. Do we want to go back to something like that? How do we make it mandatory and continue with the level of service that we've got? You know, courtesy of the guys over at. Oh gosh, has it been that long? I can't remember the name.
It's really unclear what kind of plan they're looking at. Putting in place.
And so I'm wondering. So you got 37,000 plus people that are unemployed and underemployed right now. All of a sudden, looking at the prospect of paying more somewhere to have the trash taken out. We're either going to pay more by way of taxes, or property taxes, or rents, or everybody's going to have to pony up $30 a month for the privilege of having their trash taken away. Just a thought. Really, really interesting stuff, and we'll see where that ends up. A couple of other interesting things as we make our way into the 8 o'clock hour on the Ray Gibson Show. Let me just check my email. I'm going to do this about every 10 or 15 minutes.
It's going to be there.
Until I get in. You think?
I know it's going to be there.
All right. Let me get out of the spam folder, go back to the inboxes here, and see if... there it is. Democratic Party of Guam.
It's there.
There it is. At 7:44 this morning while I was yakking with Dave Del Sola.
Wow.
They whipped it out. Here we go. The Democratic Party of Guam would like to thank the 17,000 plus voters who exercised their sacred right to vote in the runoff election. We congratulate Congressman Michael F.Q. San Nicolas in his victory and thank former Congressman Dr. Robert A. Underwood for stepping up to serve our island. As the election season officially comes to an end, the party would like to emphasize to all incoming candidates, both the Democrats and Republicans, that we need to put our differences aside and work together for the sake of our island.
They wrote that because they heard you this morning, man.
Awesome! The power of the Ray Gibson Show. Look out, everybody. Widen the doors because my butt's getting big here.
Using that voice for good. Wow, Ray.
Using our power. Look, if it brings people together, Real Joe, if it brings us all together. So with the recent victory of President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, the path forward looks more promising for Guam. That's right, higher taxes. There's going to be higher taxes. Isn't that going to be great? I'll be paying higher. Anyway, what is it with the recent victory of President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris? Wait a second. Do we have to do this again? Do I have to again point out to people? They named you the Democrat Party. Maybe a little bit you should know about democracy. It ain't over until it's over. They're still counting votes, for heaven's sakes, and there are still parties, litigants in court to determine legal versus illegal votes that have been cast. And until the Electoral College settles in on this, ain't nobody has been victory or loser in the election. I'm sorry, let me move forward. The path forward looks more promising for Guam, but it also takes all of us striving for a common goal, which should be combating COVID-19 and returning our island to our more prosperous days. Our people have demonstrated that we are resilient, but as our island's history has taught us, we can only overcome this if we do it together. Biba Guam. Nice. So here's the deal, guys. I totally set them up for that. I totally set them up, didn't I? The first words out of my mouth today, Biba Mike St. Nicholas, Biba Robert Underwood, now is the time for unity in the Democratic Party. And now those very words practically echoed in the press release that has come out from the Democratic Party. It's only 7 hours late.
You spoke it into existence.
8 hours late. But you know what? You got it in the right day. You came in on the right calendar day for this, so we're going to give you credit on all of that. Didn't say that we wish him well or anything like that. We congratulate. Isn't that amazing? Congratulations on your victory. Not even a we wish him well. Congratulations on our victory, and then they go in and start spewing some BS about President-elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Way to go, guys. Funny about it, that echo chamber you're in, isn't it? 8 o'clock in the morning, the radio stations, KUSG, I got you, 93.3. This is The Point. Fox News Live's coming up next on the other side of that. Montecillo Tyrant, more fun and games and shenanigans. That's right, Hector. The media doesn't decide the election. Electoral College B. And don't you ever read your organic about that? It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Stand by now for Fox News Live.
More masks, fewer contacts. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. That's the plea in Ohio as Governor Mike DeWine tries to bring down near record levels of coronavirus. He's imposing a nightly curfew on retailers for the next 3 weeks.
In addition to the curfew itself, I'm asking each Ohioan every day to do at least one thing that reduces your contact with others.
Ohio's 7-day rolling average has jumped to more than 7,000 cases per day. The number of lives lost to COVID nationwide has just topped 248,000 in the Johns Hopkins count. The Trump administration facing increasing pressure to give the Biden transition team access to more information, including real-time data on things like hospital bed capacity and equipment stockpiles. The president-elect's COVID task force is warning the delay in recognizing the election outcome could compromise the pandemic response. But the Trump campaign isn't finished with legal challenges. And in Georgia, an ongoing recount has raised some questions. Fox's Gernal Scott has this live.
Lisa, the recount in Georgia has turned up a second county that is uncounted votes, about 2,700 of them. Still not enough to swing. Manager Gabriel Sterling says they'll keep counting.
The reason you do the audit is to find these kind of human errors and then make sure that they are corrected.
As for the process,
I don't see any reason why we can't meet the midnight deadline tomorrow.
They are investigating another allegation in Fulton County. Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. Just to be clear, what's been found would not be enough to swing the state, which has been called for Biden. Since the president-elect hasn't been allowed to receive daily intelligence briefings, he's getting a briefing from national security experts today, also taking more phone calls from foreign leaders, including the Israeli prime minister. America is listening to Fox News.
Half a day. This is Michelle from APL Guam. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam and on the U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
Chili's has a dinner deal you can't miss. Enjoy a tasty appetizer, 2 bottomless Coca-Cola beverages, and 2 mouth-watering entrees, all for just $35. Treat yourself to entree options like our fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs, personal fajita with chicken, or the ultimate bacon burger. Chili's 2 for $35. Available daily from 3 p.m. to closing for patio dining or takeout. Chili's is located on the 2nd floor of the Tuman Sands Plaza. Call 648-7377 to place your takeout order today. With Chili's, you can still savor the moment at home.
The Republican-led Senate still working to pass President Trump's nominees, but his pick for a seat on the Fed has been blocked.
Just enough bipartisan opposition. President Trump's nominee for the Federal Reserve, Judy Shelton, stalled her confirmation. A cloture vote to limit debate and advance the nomination failed. Every Democrat, including Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, who returned to the Capitol to cast her vote, voted no. So did Republicans Mitt Romney and Susan Collins. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell set up a possible revote in the future. Shelton had drawn concern because of her criticism of the Federal Reserve and past support for the gold standard. On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The White House expressing continued support for Shelton and predicting eventual confirmation. A tribute to the fallen is back on at Arlington National Cemetery, less than 24 hours after getting COVID canceled.
Just minutes before speaking to reporters, Wreaths Across America Executive Director Karen Worcester received unexpected news.
The Secretary of the Army has directed Arlington National Cemetery, sorry, this is emotional, to safely host Wreaths Across America.
The event normally involves thousands of people laying wreaths at the graves of fallen veterans. On Monday, the National Cemetery said it wouldn't participate because they were worried about the crowds. But Worcester vows protocols will be followed.
Whatever it takes for us to make sure that these gifts of honor are placed for people, we will do that. We will do it with the guidelines of the cemetery.
Rob Dawson, Fox News.
In a tweet, President Trump calls the initial decision to cancel the event ridiculous and says he reversed it. There's a new option on Twitter designed to appeal to users who don't like the tweets are so permanent. The new tweets are called fleets, and they disappear in 24 hours, echoing social media sites like Snapchat, Facebook, and Instagram that already have disappearing posts. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Contact tracing is key to containing COVID-19. That's why we're introducing the Guam COVID Alert app. According to Oxford University, for every 100 to 200 downloads of this app, 100 infections can be prevented and 1 life can be saved. Help save a life. Go to guamcovidalert.guam.gov or download the app from the App Store or Google Play now. Add your phone to the COVID fight. Help Guam stop COVID-19.
Are you fed up with those long bank lines? Do you wish you had a bank who gave you faster service? Well, by enrolling in Bank Pacific's new mobile app, you don't even need to wait in line. But even if you do want to come down in person, we're more than happy to see your smiling face, as long as you have a mask. Because our service is so good, we don't believe in lines. Because for 66 years, we've been making sure you get the service you deserve. Because where others put branches, we place roots. And we're rooting for you. Member FDIC.
Oh, KFC, original and crispy. KFC's Colonel Sanders here. KFC wants to make your busy holiday season a little easier with KFC's complete holiday feast. That's 12 pieces of KFC's original chicken, 3 large homestyle sides, 4 biscuits, and a free chocolate chip cake. Or try the 6-piece meal with our new sweet potato fries. Happy holidays from KFC Guam. It's finger licking good.
Off a day, it's 8:06. I'm Anna Sofa Tyron with a look at your local news on the point. Congressman Mike Nicholas will be headed back to Washington, D.C. after he took the lead in the runoff yesterday, leading to a late-night concession by his contender, former Congressman Robert Underwood. As the results were being posted, it had become clear that Sir Nicholas was in the lead, which led to Underwood calling a press conference where he conceded to the incumbent. Underwood congratulating Delegate Sir Nicholas on his victory, wishing him well in his future endeavors. The island recorded its 100th COVID-related fatality. Another individual dying yesterday at GMH. The 58-year-old man did have underlying health conditions that were complicated by COVID. He had been admitted to GMH on October 18th and had tested positive upon admission. Earlier in the day, a 73-year-old man became the 99th COVID-related death. According to the Joint Information Center, he was a patient at the hospital since earlier in the month and also had underlying health conditions that were complicated by COVID. Meanwhile, the count of COVID-positive cases now at 6,234 since testing started in March. There are 1,700 cases in active isolation. Yesterday, they recorded 59 new cases, 19 of them through contact tracing. 4 cases reported recent travel to the States and were identified in quarantine. Now, from the JIC, as of yesterday, the current CAR score, or the COVID area risk score, is at 22.5. The day before, it was listed at 41.5. And where there's a lot of news regarding COVID and the pandemic response, people need to be cautious where they're getting the news from. In the last couple of days, fake news was being circulated throughout social media, warning people to prepare for the governor to declare an island-wide lockdown for at least 2 to 4 weeks. The advisory was that people should stock up on non-perishable goods to get them through the next couple of weeks under a lockdown. The Joint Information Center says none of it is true, nor are the reports that the administration will be considering a $2,000 fine for not wearing masks. They do ask people to share only verified official information. We'll have more news right after this.
It's time to mix things up at Subway. Come in and get Subway's new barbecue chicken sandwich. Tender chicken strips topped with generous portions of sweet barbecue sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Add on crisp lettuce, onions, and tangy pickles on your favorite freshly baked bread. Perfect to satisfy just about anyone's flavor craving. It's Subway's new barbecue chicken sandwich, available for a limited time only, so try it today. At Subway, make it what you want.
The governor's physician advisory group still behind the current lockdown, saying it is effective even despite the recent jump in COVID positives. Dr. Hao Nguyen saying in the Guam Daily Post today, you can't put any more restrictions on the community, but everyone in Guam needs to abide by the executive order, calling it everybody's responsibility at this point. Nguyen says that they are finding that most people are contracting the virus from visiting each other, and all the positives are coming from family gatherings. He says mingling from one house to another is where the true spread in the community is happening. The doctor suggests if everyone can restrict themselves from visiting each other for 2 weeks, you will see a great decrease in the positive cases in the community. But it is going to take an effort by everyone. And while you should try your best not to visit each other's family households, you really ought to not visit anyone in quarantine. You'll find the story in Candid News today. There was a bit of excitement at the government quarantine facility when a stowaway was discovered in one of the rooms. The 24-year-old woman reportedly made her way into the facility and was discovered in her boyfriend's room. The woman is now being quarantined and could face jail time. Police say a nurse reported the possible violation when the unauthorized individual was discovered in the facility. The case has now been forwarded to the Attorney General for prosecution. And special permits will be given to fishermen on Guam for Achang Bay Marine Preserve and Petey Bombholes Marine Preserve. In a release from the Department of Agriculture, the permit's only for a certain fish species. The department said hook and line and tilads are allowed for the month of November. Tuman is also open for daily hook, line, and tilads from the shore. You got to see regulations for allowed catch or call agriculture for more information. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
Wait a second. Hold on a second. Let's see if I can Google something up a little bit later on. There's a story about a Canadian farmer who trimmed his field into the shape of a giant... I'll use a phrase I learned from Porky's last night. Tallywhacker.
I knew it.
That can apparently be seen on Google Maps, which collects imagery from satellites more than 22,000 miles above the surface. Prince Edward Island resident Jamie Ricks originally cut his soybeans into a crop circle about 1.5 years ago after he added a straight line so he could drive directly down the field. A friend dared him to turn it into a giant. Ricks replied, challenge accepted. The 800-foot tallywhacker is something of a protest against the government. And again, visible from space. Some of you have already beat me to the punch and are Google mapping for Prince Edward Island and a soybean farm in the area.
That's why the aliens won't come down and visit us.
It's 8:12 in the morning. All right, here's the weather. High surf advisory is in effect until this afternoon along those north-facing reefs. High risk of rip currents through afternoon along those same reefs. Today, mostly cloudy, becoming partly cloudy after lunchtime today. Isolated showers, east winds up to about 15 miles an hour. High is going to be 88 degrees for tonight. Expect partly cloudy skies on isolated showers. Winds to about 15 miles an hour. And overnight low should be about 77 degrees. Not sure what sunset is going to be like, but take a chance and be out there looking at it about 10 minutes to 6. 5:50, hashtag tell the others. 8:13 in the morning. That's news and weather together here in The Point.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training.
Hi, I'm Jerry Roberts, and every day on The Ray Gibson Show, I get to comment on the incredibly diverse, fun, challenging, sometimes frustrating, often exciting, but always interesting world of work. I hope you'll be there with us.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at GuamTraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
You've got a job to do. Having the right equipment for the job is critical, and East West Rental has the exact tools you need. Get it done faster with the right stuff, whether it's landscaping tools, concrete tools, lifts, trucks, lights, generators, trench boxes, welders, tents, tables, and chairs. They're here to help you tackle any project you're working on, big or small. Open Monday to Saturday, 7 to 5, closed Sundays. Find what you're looking for at East West Rental Center in Upper Tumont, or call 646-1463.
8:13 in the morning, and Montecillo Tyron may have some details for us in just a second on apparently you can do this thing over in Prince Edward Island in Canada isn't the only one of its kind. So apparently there are a number of other places you can do a Google search. And
I sent you the link.
You sent me a link?
I'm washing my hands with this story.
No, there's a bit. I'll share the link on the site, maybe on the Facebook Live, but other places on the planet where you can see where people have adjusted the landscape so that it resembled tallywhackers. Mesclados is open for curbside service 11 to 9 daily. Give them a call at 646-6295 or hit their website at mesclados.com for the full menu. Also available via Grab and Grub and good-to-go deliveries. Ray Gibson Show also brought to you by American President Lines, APL, a global presence with a local home.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-8255.
I know what you're thinking about. Everybody else is thinking about it as well. I was looking at a magistrate report here.
15 more minutes. If you just wait till I leave, it'd be just...
I can't. No, forget it. Steve Aldrich was busted in the last couple of days on the 17th at 3:30 in the morning. Cops observed a male individual, later identified as Stephen Aldrich, who appeared to be asleep within a vehicle along Clara Street in Mongmong. Officers noted a gun in his lap. What? Guy's sleeping in the car with a gun in his lap?
Way to go, dude.
Bits and pieces of this story are published in the newspapers. Officers knocked on the window to wake up the defendant and announce their presence. Officers, it should be noted in the magistrate report that they spelled knocked with no K and presence as in Presents, like Christmas presents. Officers had the defendant exit the vehicle and keep his hands where they could see them. Officers retrieved the firearm, a Cobra Colt 38 Special. The firearm was also noted to have no serial numbers and 6 bullets inside the cylinder. Officers conducted a pat-down. This is the thing that got Mona giggling a second ago. Officers conducted a pat-down of his person for other weapons and felt a long, hard object. When asked what the object was, the defendant admitted, "It's my meth, sir." The defendant consented to the removal of the item, and officers noticed that it was an improvised glass pipe with white frost. It was suspected to be methamphetamine. They asked and received consent to search the vehicle. After advising the defendant of his Miranda rights, they found a lighter, green heat-sealed straws in a Ziploc baggie with yet even more crystal methamphetamine. The defendant later stated he had purchased the gun and bullets from a friend but didn't want to provide the name of the individual. You know, if that's your friend, guy selling you a gun, Cobra Colt 38 Special,
I ain't no
for $300,
snitch.
man. That's a good price. I bet Mike Tomorowski, Bargain Tactical, is going to look at that and go, "There's no way I could sell that with less than $450."
Yeah.
Right? And
Yep.
it had 6 rounds on the inside of it. That's a good friend. That's $300. Good price. Guy had some meth he picked up for $200 from another friend. You know, that's the heartening thing, isn't it? Is that even if you've got an unhealthy drug addiction, you still have friends. You still got guys looking out for you. looking to sell you drugs for $200, something like that, and a gun for $3. Where do people come up with $500 in cash at any one time? Can I just get another reason why Ray Gibson has never ever had a drug-filled life is I can't imagine having to come up with the money that it takes to be able to support that kind of habit on a regular basis, right? Is that where do you get that kind of dough? Dude, I got car payments to make and insurance, and I got to put gas in the car and food on the table. I ain't got time for that. When asked about what kind of firearm was found on the defendant, immediately replied, .38 snub nose silver revolver. Colt. Proud of my gun here for $300. 8:17 in the morning. Remind me. A little bit later on, I want to talk. Mana had mentioned in the newscast a story from the Guam Daily Post. Governor's advisor cease visiting relatives for 2 weeks. You see this story? All right, I'll point out an inconsistency in the thinking and the logic, which nothing new there, but I'll point that out to you in just a little bit. Is that my cousin Troy?
It is.
Line 1, cousin Troy. We got so much to talk about here today, cousin Troy.
Good morning, cousin Ray.
Good morning, my most beautiful favorite cousin in the
morning,
world.
Favorite cousin in the whole wide world. Good morning, my cello.
Oh, okay.
My real cello.
There is just so much to talk about here. We'll maybe save the election for last and talk about the break-in over at the quarantine hotel, and we'll get to that in just a second. But I was hoping to get a hold of Jimmy Moylan a little bit later on today and see if I can get an update on what's going on at the legislature. They took yesterday off from session for the election, but there was some excitement on Monday. Could very well be in for a little bit more session fun today. What do you think?
Yeah, I wasn't really paying attention to the session on Monday. It was kind of boring to me, but I also had to go to a couple of appointments.
Mm-hmm.
We played the session stuff. I know they finally had the legislature finally agreed to hear on the floor Jimmy Moylan's bills. I know one of them was about reducing the
applications for the LLCs.
Yeah. And his argument was, of course, the economic times. I did see a couple people making the argument that, when you become an LLC, you get certain type of protections that protect you from losing your butt on liabilities, and so it's something it's sort of
that's hence the name limited liability corporations, and that's part of the idea. Is you can come after me as a person and take the house and the car and the wife and the kids, but if we throw everything in an LLC, among some of the other protections is the LLC can be viewed kind of as a person, so you would seize the LLC's assets, not mine personally.
We're a corporation. I have no idea. Just when we talked to the attorney said that's a better idea, and I think they had to pay some sort of premium for that as well.
Yeah, it's $1,000 to sign up for an LLC. Most places are much lower than that, and all he wants to do is bring that cost down so that other people might be able to take advantage of those kinds of protections. Especially in a time and place where the governor can, on a whim, determine whether or not your business is essential and shut you down for 8 months, like they've done to the bars.
I mean, it sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we'll see what. Are you guys going to be looking at it again today? It was a resume session.
I think so. We just have some morning stuff to do. What time is the session starting? Sorry, yesterday was kind of
I don't know,
all over the place for us. So
probably 10. Probably they're going to say they'll start at 10 and everybody will start getting rounded up about 10:30, 11 o'clock. So.
Well, if they do the legislature thing and they start late, then we likely will be able to cover it. But if they start at 10, and they probably won't. Because they've never been on time and they never have respect for the people of Guam to start on time, then, we won't be able to.
You'd think they'd want to spend as much time as possible in that pretty building they've got there. Mana says is looking at the website, and she says the schedule is at 10 o'clock this morning, but don't hold your breath, and, just because it's usually a wait before they get there. God, and then as they go into, there's so much pre-ramble nonsense. It just kind of makes you crazy. But anyway, 8:21, there was that, and then now tell me a little bit more about this story, because there's a little bit more meat on a bone here about the quarantine break-in. There's a guy in quarantine with COVID-19, and he got a visit from his girlfriend, right?
So he's in isolation, in the isolation facility, which means he's in there because he has COVID-19.
He's positive, yeah.
And his girlfriend, and so according to a source that we've been tracking this story a day before the police department put it up, and I begged Crystal Paco. I was like, Crystal, if there's any story that you can get me, can you just confirm that this happened, because this is really funny for us. And so a source told us that this woman somehow got into the isolation facility. This person, the source, was thinking but couldn't confirm that she had actually climbed a balcony. And I said,
that's okay, guys. Relationship goals right there. That's what we're looking for, right? In the next round, what do you want? You want the girl that's going to say, I don't care about the law, baby. I'm climbing the Bayview balconies to get to you.
I want to see what this guy looks like and check out if he's a porn star or something. That is some true love right there.
Right. Well, now somebody reached out to Joe after Mon and I were talking about the story this morning that said, oh, it was the girlfriend, not the wife. Is it possible that there could be three sides to this story?
You see, the story just keeps getting better if that's the case.
Yeah. Well, look, nobody's got the kind of contacts and connects that you do. So that needs to. I mean, forget the legislature. Biba, Mike, St. Nicholas, but we need to find out more about this little love arrangement that's going on over at the Bayview. Is it the first time that this has happened? Because they've been using that place for a while. Is it? Did somebody look the other way? Were there other favors presented to somebody that should have been guarding the place? What's going to happen with her? Is the Attorney General going to drop everything and prosecute this woman for breaking in?
Well, I think at the very least she's going to be in quarantine for 14 days, and if she tests positive, she might be back in that same room at the
I was going to say, I mean, look, if we know that there's a love connection between these two, but leave it to the governor. The governor would pay for 2 rooms. The governor would pay for 2 rooms in this COVID-19 time, even though they're quarantined for the same thing. You'd think they'd go, oh, okay, they're together. Go ahead and stick them in the same room. But no, we need to spend more money.
Not if there's a wife. I would that'd be a bad idea.
Well, okay, I don't have that confirmed yet. Maybe go back to Crystal and see if you can confirm. See, now this is why. Now I know why. It took so long for Crystal Paco to get the word out yesterday, because I was hitting her at 11 o'clock, 11:30 when I started getting pinged on these fake news lockdown stories. I sent them to her and I said, you got to put some fire on this. If it's not true, you need to come out and tell people it's not true. Otherwise, they're going to go panic shopping. People will raid the armory and get bullets and all of that stuff in expectation of being locked down for 4 weeks and $2,000 for a mask fine. And it wasn't until 4:30 that they came out with that. So that's why it took them so long, because they were chasing down that story for you.
Alicia Canasta calls it 50 Shades of Bayview.
And you thought all the fun was on the 19th floor. You thought all of the fun was on the 19th floor over at Pac Star. Well, whatever else you find out from that, because it's going to be our favorite non-COVID-19 story. 8:25, Cousin Troy on the line, and now your thoughts on what was the big story yesterday that turns into the big story today. Runoff election, not very well attended, not very well voted on by the people of Guam, but as we will in elections, finally come out with a winner. So Biba, Mike, St. Nicholas.
Low voter turnout did not favor Mike St. Nicholas for a number of reasons.
Well, he's still on.
Chief among them, just the thought that from Mike St. Nicholas's supporters, or those who voted for him, that they don't need to vote for him again since he did so well in the general election. And so low voter turnout was a scary thing for him, I'm sure. But the other thing is that unlike Congressman Underwood, Congressman St. Nicholas did not have a get out the vote drive. And I think that's for the political pundits out there and those who are shaping up to lead a gubernatorial or even a senatorial election in the future, this might be one of those lessons in Guam election history that the landscape either is changing or has changed.
Oh, it has changed. It has. So I had a conversation with marketing genius Kaz Endo last night, and among the things that we talked about, and I said, we got to start gearing up for this. We'll give up the airtime, but we need to create campaigns and find the influencers around here and all the social media and regular media, and have them come out with a campaign to get the vote out. The last general election, worst attendance, worst turnout of in the history of Guam. This runoff election was for a lot of people a nothing burger, but what has happened now is that 30,000 people, 35,000 people. I've had the numbers yesterday. 30,000 people decided the direction of an island of 165,000 people. I
think we have,
and we need to do better.
By and large, we have COVID to blame for the voter turnout.
Well, it's been trending down over the years.
That's true. That's true. I think. Maybe our last very high turnout election wasn't even 2010, I don't think. I think it was 2006 maybe.
Oh, Paps would know. Paps keeps track of those kinds of numbers. I just know that it's trending down. We need to do everything that we can. And as the voter turnout drive, that has been part of. And now that the election is over, I've received a couple of telephone calls from guys in Uncle Robert's party that were suggesting to me as much as possible to try to encourage votership, to try to encourage people to go out and vote as much as possible in the election, because primarily that candidate would need it. It would have benefited maybe the most out of a higher voter turnout.
The other thing I'm wondering is, do we make it too difficult for people to register to vote? That could be another thing. And I know the Guam Election Commission does everything it can within the limits of the law to register people. So it's not their fault. This is probably a function of the law. And whoever's in charge of election oversight over the legislature, this is probably something to take a look at.
Oh, next term. Please, not this term. No, not this group, please. This is the dumbest bunch ever, and we don't want them meddling. We don't want them doing any more meddling, if possible, with any of the stuff that when it comes to actual voting and electing people here on Guam. That's why there's so much turmoil in the nation. 8:29 in the morning, and again, Cousin Troy on the line from Candid News. I'd read on the air, and I'll read it to you again. I don't know if you've got a copy of it. The Democrat Party of Guam finally, at 7:44, came out with a statement congratulating Mike Sinicolas. They refer to him once in the entire statement. They refer to Uncle Robert once in the entire statement. So clearly, this is not about Mike Sinicolas' victory over Robert Underwood.
They probably took those, because I think we called the election at 11:59 p.m. when we got the third set of results.
Mm-hmm.
Mathematically, it was impossible for Underwood to overcome Sinicolas at that point. So we just did the math real quick in our heads. We knew that 50 out of 67 precincts called. There was a 3,000 vote gap between them.
Yeah, you're not going to make that up.
Yeah, there was no way that Underwood was going to make that up. So we called the election at 11:59. So from 11:59 to 7:44, I guess that's how long it took for the Democratic Party of Guam to lick its chops. And clearly,
here's the entire statement. I mean, at least when they put Maria Senz on at district court or made that nomination, at least they wished her well. At least Sandra, those guys said, "Oh, well, quote, we wish her well." That was the distinction. We congratulate Congressman Michael F.Q. Sinicolas on his victory, and thank Congressman Robert Underwood for stepping up to serve our island. And not even we wish you well. Thank you for your years of service, Congressman Underwood, and we look forward to working with you in another round of public service to the community that you love. Nothing like that. There's these are supposed to be. Carlo didn't write this, because Carlo would have put something a little bit fancier in here. But whoever did write this did not do the party any favors. Then they went on to re-emphasize the recent victory of President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. While that race is still going on in the United States mainland, it is also it takes all of us striving for a common goal, which should be combating COVID-19 and returning our island to more prosperous days. Our people have demonstrated that we are resilient. If I hear the word resilient one more time. But as our island's history has taught us...
How about unprecedented?
Unprecedented. Out of an abundance of caution. But as our island's history has taught us, we can only overcome this if we do it together.
Well, first of all, Carlo Branch would have either refused to write a statement congratulating Mike St. Nicholas, or his tears would have gotten all over the paper that it was written on. Obviously, there is a deep divide in the Democratic Party that if Governor Lilian Guerrero wants to get reelected, she needs to help to mend or lead a reconciliation within the Democratic Party, because it's very clear that a ton of Democrats in the establishment were just against Mike St. Nicholas, and it's very clear that there is still a lot of hurt feelings from when Mike St. Nicholas beat Madeline Bordallo.
It's butthurt for 2 years, man. So he beat Madeline, number one, and he didn't sign the Unity Pledge. And as far as the Democrats are concerned, I mean, you just persona non grata to the point where they're basically turning their back on a Democrat victory for Congress.
Sandra Reyes-Seau, Republican senatorial candidate, who was loyal to the party, throughout the general election and supported Will and all that. She was standing on the roadsides in front of precincts with her Mike St. Nicholas shirt, carrying Mike St. Nicholas banner, because for her it was a matter of conscience. She supported Mike. There are Republicans in high up places who were not quiet about supporting Mike St. Nicholas, and then there were Democrats in high up places who were not quiet in being against him, and these are weird times. But I think these party people need to pay attention to how he won the election, because
as far as I'm concerned, if this is the nature of what should be their great congratulatory moment here, a Democratic victory and keeping a Democrat seat in the House of Representatives, that ought to be a big deal, but it wasn't for them, and you can tell, you can taste the sour grapes in this. Well, we congratulate Mike St. Nicholas.
Maybe they're like our chemistry teachers, the ones that never show any sort of emotion.
Oh, that was my lit teacher. Yeah, yeah. No, but I know exactly the kind that you're talking about. Cousin Troy, I can hardly wait to see what you guys come up with today, and who needs to feel a little bit of the Candid News squeeze.
Thank you. By the way, join us Friday afternoon at 4 p.m. We are going to be having a live interview with Daphne Shimizu, who's going to talk to us about how they're providing services to people. I know there's been a bunch of questions about how to renew your vehicle registration, get your vehicle transferred. So people just have a whole bunch of questions about different services at Revenue Tax. So she's going to be talking to us about that.
No, just give her advice. Here's the advice. Grandfather everything for 2 years, because it's going to take them 2 years to clear everything out. Don't concentrate on renewals. Just everything automatically renews for another year. We'll hand out stickers to people. You don't even have to stand in line. Just come in and get a sticker for your driver's license, your business license, your registration, all of that crap. If you got to do something new, that's when you come and see us, because there's no way between them and who's the other guys, police department records and ID. There's no way they're going to be able to overcome. We're not going to be able to get a new firearms ID or GovGuam ID for another 3 years. With the inefficiency of the government of Guam, number one, and the incredible slip after 8 months of not doing these services, it's just going to be a nightmare to get over.
I agree, and we've been pushing this. Let's reopen the island completely, but after 2 weeks of locking us down in full, let's kill this virus and reopen the island completely. And so one of the things is, from now until whenever that reopening happens, get rid of our responsibilities. It's one of the things the government can do. Our responsibility to the government, the payment of this, that, and the other thing, or the renewal of that, and this, the government of Guam should hold all of that in abeyance.
Hold everything in abeyance. That's what I said. Business license, the system that they've got now for business license is beyond matapeng. You make an appointment here, make an appointment there, make an appointment there, and it'll take guys weeks to get their business license. Just print out the application and send it in. Somebody will sign it and send it back, and all of the other meetings that you got to have with everybody else in the government of Guam, we'll do next year. We'll do the year after that. We'll do it on your renewal. Get all of this stuff. Otherwise, we'll stick it in affidavits. Hey, 8:36, I got to let you run. I'll talk to you pretty soon.
Hey, can I just say one last thing?
Of course.
A message to the Guam Water and Ice Authority. Can you guys please fix the roads that you mess up? whenever you dig up stuff, because traveling through Guam yesterday really kind of sucked. Thanks, Miguel Bordallo.
The Guam Water and Ice Authority. And with pipes, too. 8:37.
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah.
All right, cuz. I'll
Thanks
talk
for
to you
the
pretty soon. 8:37 in the morning. 888-825-5888-TALK. Landon Adlet is on the line. We'll get to him. We got to take care of our last look at, if you don't mind, Landon, hold on for a second. Let me take care of the last look at news and headlines with Montesilva, and then we'll talk about some new that is out there, new kind of technology that is going to be driving the way you and I figure out which beach we're going to. That's ahead on the Ray Gibson Show.
Oh, KFC, original and crispy. KFC's Colonel Sanders here. KFC wants to make your busy holiday season a little easier with KFC's complete holiday feast. That's 12 pieces of KFC's original chicken, 3 large homestyle sides, 4 biscuits, and a free chocolate chip cake. Or try the 6-piece meal with our new sweet potato fries. Happy holidays from KFC Guam. It's finger licking good.
Studio time, 8:38. Ray Gibson Show until it's not going to be anymore. Congratulations, Mike St. Nicholas. That was the extent of the love from the Democratic Party of Guam. Hard fought battle to retain your seat. Got to fight former Congressman who everybody loves, Robert Underwood, and so victory is yours. And as a sign of your victory, we'd like to say congratulations. Not even a we wish you well. Just congratulations. Here's a pat on the back and get out of my face. It's 8:38 right now, and time for our last look at news and headlines with Montesilva Tyron. How fat?
Well, Congressman Mike St. Nicholas did take the victory yesterday and will be headed back to D.C. after he won the runoff election. His contender, former Congressman Robert Underwood, conceded late last night after it was clear that St. Nicholas was taking the lead. The island's now seen its 100th COVID-related fatality. A 58-year-old man died with underlying health conditions complicated by COVID. Earlier in the day, a 73-year-old man became the 99th COVID-related death on Guam. And yesterday, the Joint Information reported that 59 new cases were confirmed, 19 cases identified through contact tracing. 4 people had recent travel to the States and were identified in quarantine. And finally, the Joint Information Center warning of fake news and to beware of where you're getting your news regarding COVID and the pandemic response. The fake news was being circulated via social media about a 2 to 4 week lockdown by the administration and a $2,000 fine that they wanted to impose on mask wearing. The Joint Information Center says none of that was true. And again, if you get any of this information, be cautious and not to share those. And those are your top stories here on The Point.
Okay, thanks very much, Montesilva Tyron. What are you going to do for the rest of the day? Anything fun?
I don't.
You on base?
No.
Buy me a...
Okay.
I'm just thinking, what's off the top of my head? What do I want?
Popeyes.
No, pressure washer.
What?
Pressure washer. Not a water
Like
blaster.
a water blaster?
Like a water blaster, but electric one. Just pressure washer. It's the 1800 PSI pressure washer.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. 20 away from 9 o'clock in the morning. Now that I got that out of my system, Landon, coming up next.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile Team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
My keys.
I don't know where your keys. Don't talk on the radio because the microphones are all open right now. Mona's is searching around for the keys, 20 away from 9 o'clock in the morning. Good thing we didn't put anything in front of the word keys, to describe what they're like when you don't have them in your hands. In 19 minutes, it'll be, 9 o'clock in the morning? Is that where we're headed? And now I've been trying to get a hold of this guy for the last week. So it's Sunday. It's Sunday on Guam, and I'm trying to sort out which beach I'm going to be going to. Now, you might recall over the weekend that Sunday was a little bit snotty. Landon Adlet from the National Weather Service on the line right now to describe why it was snotty on Sunday and what can be done about that. Good morning, Landon. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
You know what? I'm pretty good. So as I usually do before I hit the road, because I'm usually snug as a bug in a rug when I'm at my house on Saturdays and Sundays, and then I'll get this thinking, well, maybe I ought to go to the beach, and then I'll go, but wait, this is Guam, and it might be sunshiny and gorgeous at my house, and raining cats and dogs over at a couple of my favorite beaches. So I went to Jeff's Pirates Cove and took a look at the radar map that they've got on that, and I thought, okay, well that's one. But I noticed when I expanded it, it says, oh, but there's a new one that you can get a preview of. Now, I've got a little bit of that preview online right now this morning up on the screen, and so you can take a look at it. You can't see everything that is in that graphic, but it's, first of all, it is a much better representation of the island of Guam as opposed to just the wire lines that you see in the old one, right?
I very much agree. And let me just say, first off, we're not getting a new radar. That would be very nice, but it's just a new web page to display that data that's available from our radar. And as I'm getting more familiar with the new page, radar, let me see what it is.
The thing is, I don't see any clouds on it. Do we not have any clouds over the area right now?
No, that does not show clouds, just the showers. And unfortunately, that depicts an ongoing problem we have right now with the air conditioning unit and the radar shelter has malfunctioned. That went down yesterday, so the temperatures inside the shelter are too hot, so we had to power down the radar while that's being worked on. Unfortunately, they do not have parts for the radar available at this time, so they have to order those and wait for those to come to the island, and they'll be expedited so we can get the radar up. Fortunately, there's really not much going on out there right now, nor do we see any prospects for tropical weather, so that's good news. However, back to the webpage, this is going to be one of our new web pages going out for the radar, and that's going to be going on coming up in December when it becomes our full-time web page. And the user, user access is going to be significantly improved from what the current web page is. It's very pixelated, very restrictive what you can use. It uses the Adobe Flash. This will not use that. It's going to be more of a GIS format, so you can scroll around across the United States and have access to all the radars in one location. It's going to be fantastic, and I like that stuff.
Well, I was looking at it as well. I mean, there's a ton of things that you can do. You can add boundaries, and you can't necessarily do it for Guam because Guam's not a state. We don't have things divided up into counties. But there's a lot of other interesting features that you can get. So it'll show you the village points. There it is. It painted up a little bit more of what you can see. Now I'm going to reset this. If you're watching on Facebook Live and follow along, go to the National Weather Service and click on radar, and then there's a link that will take you to the preview, so you'll be able to do that. And I've got it clicked on. I've reset it now, so I can actually go see what's happening in the States. Now, we got a listener named Keena McCausland, lives up in Washington, not too far out from the place, and now I've got Seattle in the middle of the screen, and I can see and zoom in and get, as you point out, a lot more granularity on what the radar situation is and what kind of showers that we have. Washington State, as many people know, it rains a lot in Washington State, and there's some spots. There's some spots just east of Seattle that are under some rain right now. While I'm looking at that.
The rain up in Washington. I visited my sister up in Seattle, and I was excited for the cloudy, dreary, wet weather, and it was 90 and sunny all 3 days I was there. I was like, you're lying to me.
Yeah, I've been through that. I've been there for those kinds of days before. So I've got the screen on, and down around the bottom of the screen, you can zoom in and zoom out. But it also has a little play button here, so it does not automatically default to animation mode. You click on this, and it'll load up a few more screens, and you'll be able to see the direction of these weather patterns as they move around the state. In this case, it looks like things are moving from west to east, and depositing the rain now in the more mountainous regions of central Washington State.
Now, the other thing I like about this is if you scroll in close, well, if you're looking at the continental U.S., you see all these boxes in different colors and highlights. Those are all the active, ongoing Weather Service watches, warnings, and advisories. So this automatically plots all of our active warnings, watches, and advisories onto this map.
Oh, interesting.
So if you're looking for your area in Florida, you might have a hurricane coming towards Florida. Look for your area of interest, and it'll highlight every advisory that's in effect, and you can read through those. They'll provide links on the left-hand side of the page.
Oh, interesting.
And that's the same thing for Guam right now. Even though we have no radar data available at this time, you look over Guam, and you're going to see 4 alerts. That's a high surf and rip current risk for Guam, Rota, Tinian, and Saipan. And you can click those links and get access to those text bulletins right there.
Very, very cool technology, and I love the way everything is integrated. So you can go from one part of the planet to the other part of the planet and see what's going on. And just a question of time before we get certain parts replaced around here for our systems. And then with a greater degree of detail when it gets to be Saturday or Sunday, and you're going, well, I think I'm going to run down to Tumon. Rather than go down there and be disappointed that it might be raining down there, you'll be able to actually see what's happening with the weather patterns, which way they're moving, and about how long it will take before these things start to clear out. I'm in love with the technology. I always have been, but it just seems to be that it's getting better for our weather service dollar.
That's correct, and we keep improving not just the science and technology, but also our communications, how we communicate, what we communicate, and that's been my forte for the last 4 years, and that's my benchmark for what I'm very, you could say, hell-bent to improve and fix, because we're such an isolated, culturally diverse region, and I want to make sure that people have access to all the latest weather information and details, because it could save a life. Yeah. Well,
one last thing before I get you going, just kind of curious. Everybody's business and has been affected one way or another by COVID-19. How has it affected weather and how we tell the weather story here?
Well, luckily it's a kind of a seamless transition from pre-COVID to COVID times. We have modified our shift operations to have the fewest number of people in the building at any time, because we don't want to have that situation where somebody comes in with symptoms and tests positive, and then it's affected most of our staff. So we have modified our shift operations, our building operations. We currently do not allow any guests or visitors into the building at any time, because NOAA uses its own phasing system on a level phase 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're currently at phase 0, which is the severest of phases. And so we follow that strictly. So all management, we're telework in the building only if it's operationally significant or we need to take care of some higher needs that we can't.
But you've got access. You've got access to screens at your house that you would normally be watching at work.
No, I only have access to internet-based stuff through a VPN. As far as the operational stuff, our weather computers and network, that has to be done at the office. So any shift operations, that has to be performed at the office. If something were to arise and we have a situation in our office, we can do a seamless transition and a full service backup to Hawaii. And we do that when we have long-term power failures, if we have take a beating from a typhoon or earthquake, we can pass off operations to Hawaii and they can do a seamless transition and perform all of our operations accordingly.
But no guest, right? So I can't come up and play with the balloons?
Oh, you can come out and play out there, but you have to stay outside.
I got you. I got to stay outside. just like when I go eat my dinner in the restaurant, I got to stay outside. Landon, it's always a pleasure talking with you, and I'll keep an eye on this thing. The next, I was talking about it the other day when it was operational. So maybe if you can send me a beep when it is operational, and I'll show everybody again what it is that we're talking about and why it is super groovy technology. Because it's new, it's different, it's got a better mapping system on it. I think people are going to fall in love with it and make it part of their daily routine. What's the weather going to be like? Let's take a look at the near-range satellite. I'll see you soon.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon, and I'll keep you posted on this radar.
Right on, buddy. 10 away from the top of the hour, Ray Gibson program until it's not going to be anymore. So I promised we'd spend a little bit of time talking about this story. Page 8, today's Guam Daily Post, and the guys there got together with the governor's advisor, Dr. Ao Nguyen, chairman of the Governor's Physicians Advisory Group. And there's a number of statements. We'll start with the one at the top. Cease visiting relatives for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving. How about that? Happy Thanksgiving to you, Dr. Nguyen. Do you want to go and hang out with family? If you do, you could be signing somebody's death warrant. That's the nature of it. And so a couple of other statements that he makes. The key is to work smarter, not harder. We're going to be in this for the next year or two until a vaccine or treatment comes. What? Wait, excuse me. We're going to be in this for the next year or two?
Hold up.
No. You work harder and smarter is the thing. That's what we're looking for now, because I don't want to be doing this time next year. I didn't want to be doing this time this year. I was a member. I was told in the beginning we'll lock down and we'll do checkpoints and traffic control and all of these kinds of things. Essential, not essential. We just gotta knuckle down here, buckle down, as they say. And don't worry, we've got access to millions of dollars and all kinds of time to harden our healthcare systems. And apparently we didn't do that. Not my fault. Somebody else's. And now you're telling me we're going to be in this for the next year or two? No. That cannot be right. But you're the doctor. You're the medical professional. You're the chairman of the Physicians Advisory Group. I'll leave that to you. When asked if he feels the current lockdown efforts are effective, he replied, "You can't put any more restrictions on the community, and I don't think that's the direction the governor is moving to." So more to the point about how much of yesterday's lockdown rumors were just nothing but fake news. He says she's done all she can already, but I think she needs everyone in Guam to abide by the executive order. It's everybody's responsibility at this point. But he goes on later in the article. I don't know if you read the whole thing, but he make it to the end. He says all the positives are coming from family gatherings. May I repeat what he says here and let that wash over you and do a little, just this much critical thinking. All the positives are coming from family gatherings, which means none of them are coming from the restaurants where we're eating outside. None of them are coming from the bars that have been closed all year long. None of them are coming from the non-essential businesses that have been forced to stay shuttered or significantly modify the way they interact with members of the community and their customers. None of them are associated with the banks or lending facilities. Or there was one place I went to, and I got there, the door was locked, and the lady says, "You have to call for an appointment." Wow. Okay. And you call for an appointment, and you're the one customer that's going to be allowed in this massive building at that time. But all the positives are coming from family gatherings, he says. So, again, I want to ask this, and I'm going to try not to be vindictive about the question, but if they're coming from family gatherings, can we open everything up again? I mean, I'm not even asking for 100%. I'm 50%. But can we eat inside again? Can we go inside of a bar, and every bar on Guam could open right now? Every single one could open right now with all of the steps that are required by the Department of Public Harassment and Secret Service. Everybody has gone and done what it is that they needed to do. They were ready to do that at P-Core 3. They were ready to open. They had all the dividers, all of that plexiglass crap. And can somebody explain to me what the efficacy of the plexiglass is? It was cute in the beginning, but now it's just annoying, right? You go to the gas station, and there's this massive plexiglass barrier, and you're going, okay, well, at least there's a barrier between me and the lady next on the other side of the thing. So I hand her my six-pack because that's how the scanner's on her side. So she's got to handle it, and it's never one of those things where the barcode is where she expects. So it's twist and back and forth and do this with the other. Feel like talking like Donald Trump here,
yeah,
with the hands, doing the hand gestures. And so she puts her hands all over the six-pack that I'm going to be buying.
Yeah.
But don't worry, the plexiglass is there to protect you. Uh-huh. And so
what's that?
So you got the between the plexiglass and the damn mask. I don't understand what anybody is saying anymore. But anyway, so you and then here's the credit card, right? So put it in a machine because sanitary conditions. We have the plexiglass, don't you see? But we have to divide us. So I put the thing in the machine, and then on the other side of the plexiglass, again, there is something that spits out the receipt that I have to sign.
Yeah.
That she handles with her hand and then hands it to me. Right? So we've all as stupid as these things sound, everybody in the bar business has done it. They are all ready to go. Hand sanitizers at the front. They've got somebody that they didn't need to be paying to come in and sit at the front and take down somebody's name and point a thermometer at their wrist or their forehead and do the contact tracing information. You know how I know this? Because I was at the venue the very last night they were allowed to be open. I was there. I was there with Phil. I want to say there was a couple of other guys that were sitting around, and I went there to give them some support on what I knew was going to be their last night. And by a coincidence, The people from the DEH, the Division of Environmental Health, came through. These are the ones that were tasked with the compliance, checking the bars. And Phil and venue passed flying colors. Everything was where it was supposed to be. All of the paperwork was in exactly the correct file. The posters that said no mask, no entry, just everything was there. And they still, even though these guys came out with passed the test with flying colors, they were still shut down, and they've been shut down ever since. They were open. They were dealing with customers. Near as I can tell, near as I know, nobody that was at the venue for the 2 weeks that they were allowed to open came down with COVID-19. So again, here it is. It's in black and white, and I'm surprised that nobody else has picked up on this yet. All the positives are coming from family gatherings, and if that's what the chairman of the Governor's Physicians Advisory Group is saying, it should also have been followed up with, therefore, we're going to open everything else up. Would I be okay with maybe seeing less of my family and friends for a couple of weeks? If it meant that in the meantime, we might be able to go and have a controlled sanitary get-together inside of a restaurant? Yes, I would. I'd be okay with it. And there's a lot of other people that are fine, that understand the reason for the isolation. But for them to say that it's all coming from family gatherings and not take a second step after that, I don't know. I'll give you another thing to ponder. So I've got the numbers from the JIC here this morning. Hold on, not that one. The thing about the Department of Labor, talked about that already. All right, 100th COVID-19 related fatality reported. There's that story. Our CARS score is 22.5. Yesterday it was 41. What, 41.5, something like that, 41? Was you're not paying it. Real Joe, you have to pay attention to the CARS score.
All I know is that if it
vital.
gets to 5, we're good. That's all I know.
Right. But what did we do is the question. And I'm sorry if they came out with a pronouncement about how we get to the CARS score, what factors go into determining what the CARS score is. I think I was absent that day. I know there's a video, the Strive for 5. With a link to the video, and I remember watching the video, but I don't remember what formula that they used, what Pythagorean theorem that they used to get to a CARS score of 41, and what one thing changed between yesterday and today to bring the score to 21.
Big drop.
It's a huge. It's 50%. It dropped by half.
Can I say gargantuan?
Gargantuan. Yes. Yes, you may say gargantuan. And I appreciate your contribution to the program here this morning. I don't know what the answer to that question is, and I think it would be great if somebody actually came out, if they described why it is. The CARS score is of November 17th. Our score is 22.5. It accounts for the incidence of new cases, how well current testing identifies these cases, and the rate of spread. I don't know what metrics go into all of that stuff, and it's confusing at best. 9 o'clock in the morning, the radio station is KUSG. I got you, and Real Joe says now it's the time to say, here's Fox News on The Point.
Surging cases. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. A warning from health officials as the number of people infected with COVID-19 continues to rise.
There were 166,000 new coronavirus cases reported yesterday across the U.S., a big spike from a day earlier, according to Johns Hopkins University. There's also a record number of patients hospitalized with COVID-19, more than 73,000, including more than 14,000 in ICUs, matching numbers last seen during April's surge in cases. The rise in detected infections is prompting certain cities and states to once again implement lockdowns, warning residents not to host large Thanksgiving dinners. Eben Brown, Fox News.
One of those states is Ohio, where Governor Mike DeWine is putting a retail curfew into effect starting Thursday.
We'll try it for 21 days, see how we're doing. For 21 days, 3 weeks, at 10 p.m., retail establishments need to be closed and people should be home. That will run until 5 a.m.
DeWine says the measures needed to reduce cases and stop the state's hospitals from becoming overrun. He's also asking people to reduce their contact with others. Just moments ago, breaking now, Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley, who serves as the president pro tem of the Senate and third in the line of succession, has tested positive for COVID-19. In a statement, though, he says that he feels fine. President Trump making good on a campaign promise to move American troops out of war zones.
U.S. troops will be
be cut in roughly half to 2,500 in Afghanistan by January the 15th of 2021, and American forces will be cut by 500 troops to 2,500 in Iraq by the same date. Acting Defense Secretary Christopher Miller made the official announcement of the drawdown at the Pentagon.
Fox's John Decker in Washington. America is listening to Fox News.
Win a staycation getaway with 76 Circle K. Enter to win a 2-night stay in the luxurious Tsubaki Tower with breakfast at the Casa Oceano and an hour of pure bliss at the Spa Ayala for 2. And then choose your adventure. A 3-hour ocean escapade with Shut Up and Fish, the premier ocean tour service, or take a heart-pounding water adventure and go jet skiing with Joe's Jet Ski. Just purchase $30 or more in fuel at 76 Circle K for a chance to win. Visit 76 Circle K today and win the staycation of a lifetime. Conditions apply. See store for details.
Hafidi, this is Kayla from APL Guam. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated team in Guam and the U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is overseas in what could be one of his last trips as America's top diplomat.
He met in Turkey with top religious leaders. No official meetings were conducted. The State Department blames scheduling conflicts, but Pompeo has been critical of Ankara's role in fighting in Azerbaijan, Libya, and energy conflicts in the eastern Mediterranean. Turkish leader Erdogan has recognized Joe Biden as president-elect, congratulating him on his election success.
Fox's Greg Pelcott. Israel's president and prime minister have joined the list of world leaders who have reached out to President-elect Joe Biden. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been seen as a close ally of President Trump, though his office says he and Biden had what it called a warm conversation. A major airline offering COVID tests for passengers. They say it could be a way to get people to travel again.
The start of mass vaccinations is still months away. United Airlines is trying to boost business before that. For the next month, all passengers on select United flights between Newark and Heathrow will be COVID tested at Newark International Airport. The first flight of 36 passengers landed this morning in London, all COVID-free, but they still have to quarantine for 14 days. United is trying to convince authorities that blanket quarantine measures don't help and that safe testing procedures can increase travel numbers. At Newark International Airport in New Jersey, Lauren Simonetti, Fox News.
The fossil skeletons of 2 dinosaurs that appear to be locked in a death match have been donated to a museum in North Carolina. The dueling dinosaurs were buried together 67 million years ago, according to scientists. They were discovered on a hillside in Montana in 2006 and had been the center of a legal battle over who owned them. The nonprofit organization Friends of the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences says in a statement it acquired the fossilized animals with private funds. I'm Lee Silasara, and this is Fox News.
With scammers getting bolder and more creative, here is a tip to help protect yourself. We will never ask for confidential information such as account numbers, passwords, PINs, or your social security number. If you receive a call or email from someone claiming to be from your financial institution, do not give them any information or click on any of the links. For more on how to protect yourself, visit the Federal Trade Commission website. This scam protection tip is brought to you by Bank of Guam, member FDIC.
Becoming a homeowner can be a scary process, but it doesn't have to be, especially if you have the right guidance. Break through your fears and go to a real estate professional that will ensure a higher chance of success. That person is Lolita Camet of RE/MAX Diamond Realty. Lolita also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, and military and corporate relocation. Don't be afraid. Call Lolita Camet from RE/MAX Diamond Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
What do you want me to talk about? Guys over at FHP, they are open in P-Core 1 and P-Core Fun, baby. If you've got appointments over at FHP, please keep them. Don't worry about getting sick when you get there with something else. They do sanitization all over. I'm sure there's plexiglass everywhere over at FHP. Our Island, your clinic. The Ray Gibson Show also brought to you by guys over at Chili's, second floor of the Tumon Sands Plaza. And they're asking me to make a big deal about an incredible meal deal that they have waiting for you over at the Chili's place. 2 for $35. You and a friend, you and somebody you love to watch eat. For $35, you get an appetizer, a couple of Coca-Cola fountain drinks, and then you choose from a dizzying array of entrees, including things like baby back ribs, chicken fajitas, bacon burgers, crispy chicken crispers, available every day from 3 until closing. They do patio dining. If you want to do takeaway, they can make the arrangements for you. 648-7377 or WhatsApp them at 929-7376.
Real Talk Radio is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
7 after 9 o'clock in the morning, Ray Gibson Show with a note here from my friends over at Nissan. I'm going to give you a couple of names: Chris Leonin, Jefferson Valencia, and Stanley Hallers. They're all sales guys over at Nissan, and they want to talk to you about getting into a brand new one right now. They'll make the first 3 payments for you. I mean, as individuals, they'll do that. It comes out of their pocket. No, I'm sorry. Nissan will take care of that. Nissan working with every bank in town and getting you the best interest rates on a brand new car. How about 1.99? That's almost zero, guys. You aren't paying any interest on this new car. And again, your first 3 payments, they'll cover for you. Brand new Nissan starting as low as $85, $84 a pay period. Check out the 2020 Kicks, 2020 Rogue Sport, or the regular Rogue, America's best-selling SUV. Never been a better time to think about Nissan than today. 8 after 9 o'clock in the morning, my very close friend, personal friend, Dr. Ron McNitch. We spoke with him briefly on Monday, trying to get a semblance of what the results were going to be in this runoff election. And I recall Dr. Ron McNitch said he would not pick a winner. He did not pick Mike. He did not pick Uncle Robert. And the reason why I said was it was going to be close. Well, I don't know about close. Good morning, Dr. McNitch.
Voter turnout does that to elections.
What happened?
Voter turnout.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a lot closer if the COVID had not suppressed the turnout as much. That's a pretty dang low turnout.
Oh, yeah. What did we all end up with? 17,322 votes, total votes cast in the entire election, in the entire runoff election between Uncle Robert and Mike St. Nicholas. So in that case, you would presume that the low voter turnout would favor the incumbent.
Yeah, and also just that it was a Tuesday, and for the most part, I think if in retrospect, if that election had been programmed for the Saturday before that Tuesday, they probably would have had more people turn out. But that's just an armchair quarterback.
Well, yeah. Well, who knows what it's going to be? And unless you start talking to people that didn't vote, asking them why they stayed away, we aren't going to know. The assumption is that, COVID-19, maybe that had a part of it. Maybe people were worried that there was going to be lines and delays because now you're only allowed to put 2 people in these little precinct booths at a time, and that might have been part of it. I understand. And something like this, there was apparently a sale over at Ross yesterday. And the line stretched back to where Forever 21 used to be back in the day, according to some pictures that I saw. And then there's another factor that might have been caused. About 10:30, 11 o'clock, there was a lockdown rumor that turned out to be false that started spreading in social media, and it was the buzz all day long until and might have been the buzz if people missed the corrections and the note from Crystal Paco and the JIC that it was false, it was fake news. So is it possible that might have gotten everybody, instead of going to the polling place in a runoff election that they weren't all that interested in, invested in anyway, let's go to the store and buy some Spam and toilet paper?
Very well could happen. Also, maybe they should just put the polling place next to the Ross next time.
They should do that. Polling, go. Where's your precinct? I'm at the Ross precinct. Move it from John F. Kennedy, because I passed by JFK obviously on the way home yesterday and didn't see a whole lot that was happening. Not surprisingly, I got to tell you, I'm amused by the response from the Democratic Party of Guam. Even Uncle Robert called the election fairly early last night, but it wasn't until 7:44 this morning that the folks at the Democratic Party of Guam finally sent out a statement of congratulations.
Yeah, I think we're in a community of cowards for the most part, and that's unfortunate. I think that when Robert came out and he said what he said, I think that was the time when everyone said, okay, let's move on.
And they should have. It should have happened like that. Uncle Robert comes out, makes his concession speech, says, I'm going to get a good night's rest, and I hope he did. But not until 7 o'clock in the morning, almost 8 o'clock in the following morning, before there was a pronouncement made by arguably Mike Nicholas's party as well. This wasn't Republican versus Democrat. This was two Democrats. The winner of this election was going to be a winner. It was going to be a winning Democrat, and you would think that they would have been delighted no matter what. And what do we get? Here's the milquetoast congratulations. We congratulate Congressman Michael F. Nicholas on his victory and thank former Congressman Dr. Robert A. Underwood for stepping up to serve our island. How's that?
Well, maybe our local Democrat Party wants to act more like Republicans in the mainland. I don't know.
I'm absolutely gobsmacked by that, because it seems to me this was an election that the Democrats would have had written already a draft of a press release that would have gone out as soon as there was a declared winner or a concession speech in the race that would have congratulated one or the other in the strongest terms possible, strongest, glowingest terms. And instead, they used this announcement now to make a call for all of us to get together and remind them about the recent victory of President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. The path forward looks more promising for Guam, as they say, but almost no reference whatsoever about the people in Washington, D.C. that will need to be working with Biden, the so-called victors, Biden and Kamala Harris.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound negative or anything else.
No, that's my job. No, that's totally my job. Look, I'm going to make a big deal about this because it is at the same time annoying and amusing that the Democratic Party is so invested in hating Mike Nicholas. They couldn't do more than we congratulate Mike Nicholas on his victory. That's it.
Well, I've said this for many years that if Guam's really serious, and I think Guam can be serious, we just simply need to hire a K Street lobbyist to get our work in Washington, D.C. done. There's nothing wrong with the delegate. Well, there's a lot of symbolics to the delegate, and that's great. But the actual work of getting our stuff done, most jurisdictions like ours would have a K Street lobbyist do it. And by the way, Ben Blas, before he passed away, the eulogy speech, said so also. So if we're serious about getting better deals and being included better, we should hire that kind of lobbyist.
Well, you know who? There's guys that have done that in the past. I recall when we were working on getting the Russia-China deal, the visa waiver. It wasn't anybody around here that was getting that work done. That was that K Street paperwork was taken care of by DFS. Obviously, they had skin in the game, but what would have been good for them would have been good for everybody else on Guam. So I, that was, I think, the last time anybody brought in any real expertise to be working with these guys and smoothing things over in the various departments and agencies in Washington, D.C. Quarter after 9 o'clock in the morning. Now it is my belief, and I'm sure that you'd agree with this, that the race for 2022, or the race for the next election come 2 years, will start today. The Democrat Party are going to figure out how they can get Mike Nicholas, a Democrat, out of Washington, D.C., but also need to be thinking about the 37th Guam legislature and re-electing Lulian Guerrero at Adelup. Would you like that job? Would you like to tell me what you think that job might entail?
I think that former Speaker B.J. Cruz would be a great delegate one day.
Didn't he? He was toying around with that idea.
Right.
You think maybe?
They do a great job.
Here, I'll throw out. Let me throw out another name. Tony Babauta.
Yeah, I think BJ though has the capacity to really knock it out though.
Yeah. Well, he's intelligent as the day is long. Legal expertise, institutional knowledge, like you wouldn't believe. He'd worked in D.C. before. I want to say, once upon a time.
And he's and I think we both know him, and we both know he's genuinely committed to helping our people here.
Well, we'll play around with the thought. Okay, well, that's a delegate position. I mean, if they really got their heart dead set on making a point of Mike St. Nicholas not being a part of the family, then there you go. We got the 35th Guam legislature moving into what will be the 36th next year. We'll see what they're able to do, what the relationship between the skinny majority that this Democrat Party is going to have, and how that will help them get retained in the 37th Guam legislature. One of the problems I think both sides has is they are not necessarily recruiting a whole lot of new known names to run for senatorial positions to be groomed for other positions later.
I think this group of 4 Republicans who are actually old hands might just be exactly what the legislature needs for the next 2 years.
Think there might be a couple of other people that have been Republican figures in the legislature in the past. Although some would say that just the fact that Mike St. Nicholas beats Robert Underwood here, beat Madeline Berdallo before, could be an indication that the people are definitely looking for new blood and or different blood. And then one last thing. I mean, if you're somebody in the Democrat Party, what do you want to do? Bob Klitsky. He'll riff on this later. Who represents the 19th floor? Hey, 9:17 in the morning, but does the Democrat Party stand by Lou Leon Guerrero after COVID-19 2020, and who knows what's going to be coming in 21-22 with the downturn in the worldwide economy and our seeming inability to reopen the island, even though right now we've got the best things going for us. Does the Democrat Party stand by Lou, or do they start looking around for somebody else?
No, I think that Governor Lewis is the chair of their party. I think that they're, at least from the standpoint of the governor's position, I don't see them making any changes at all. I can't think of a single governor who was not wanted to return. Now, of course, 1998 was a very contentious election. And there was real competition from Tom and Lou and also Angel Santos for the Democrat slot in 1998. But really, that's a very unusual set of circumstances.
I wonder well, these are unusual times. Unprecedented is the word that people like to use. So it's possible in these unprecedented times that there could be people that rise up and figure out how to, I don't know, woo the masses and say it's all going to be about you guys next time. 9:19 in the morning. Dr. Ron McNitch from the University of Guam. While I've got the subject open on gubernatorial candidates in 2022. All right, so let's say the Democrats are going to stand by Lou. What do the Republicans do? Is it time for a Balik Bayan? Do you bring back a Felix Camacho? Do you bring back an Eddie Calvo?
How about Ray and Bob 2022?
Yeah, if nominated, I will not run. If elected, I will not serve. But I was talking to somebody. I said, I was asked a question by a lady that was asking, would I seriously entertain it? And I've seriously entertained it before. I just didn't want to do any of the paperwork. And she said, what if I did it for you? And I said, well, maybe I will. I don't know. See what happens. Well, I don't know where I'm going to be in a couple of years anyway. 20 after 9 o'clock in the morning. Dr. Ron McNitch, it's always a delight talking with you. Sorry the voter turnout didn't work out and they didn't come in any closer than they did. But as they say, Biba MSN, Biba RAU, and let's bring unity to the Democrat Party.
And let's get a K Street lobbyist to get our real work done in D.C.
Get the real work done? So having a congressman there and Madeline Berdallo working with the governor's office and a K Street lawyer, or we'll just do the K Street lawyer?
I think all three would be good. I think that, and by the way, I have to say, and I'm not being critical of delegates or anyone else, it's just they know how to get it done, and they have the connections to get it done.
And generally, more than one or two clients asking for among the same things. A K Street lawyer could do wonders if we wanted to restart that conversation on something as controversial as the Jones Act. It'd be fun to play around with that again. 9:21. Ron, I'll talk to you pretty soon. You have an incredible day.
Hey, thank you so much. Sorry about my voice being rough.
No, I'm sure you were up all night, doing whatever. I did not stay up and watch the returns. Hence, I'm a fresh horse this morning. I did not. I instead went home, heated up some lumpia, and watched Porky's until about 10:30.
The movie?
Yes, Porky's the movie, Ron. You're familiar with it.
You know, Kim Cattrall was in that movie.
I know Kim Cattrall was in that movie. It was the best part of the movie. I know. No, actually, the truth of the matter is about every 2 or 3 minutes, there is a best part of the movie. There's a best part when you got Beulah talking to the principal about wanting to get all the boys in a lineup so she can identify the tallywhacker with a mole on it. And you got that one gym teacher who starts talking about what the scenario is going to look like, and he sinks deeper and deeper into the chair until he's finally gone. I mean, that movie and Animal House really clearly defined a path forward for me in my own personal growth and personality identity.
Or perhaps you just stayed the same.
There's that.
Kept that in mind.
One of these days, I want to go and I will go to Angel Beach in Florida and explore my roots as a member of the Porky's generation. 922. I'll talk to you pretty soon. 888-825-5888 is the telephone number. Yesterday, our car score was 41, and today it is 21. And I don't know what the hell I did to bring that number down by half. Bob Kelly is on the line, and Bob takes a more practical look at the numbers than I generally tend to, because that's his job. He's got the PE at the end of his name. Good morning, Bob.
Hello. I just want you to go and take a look at the JIC reports for the last 3 days, and I think you'll see why our numbers dropped. And that is, we've only reported from public health. Every other place, including diagnostic laboratories, is NA. No numbers.
I'm looking at that.
If the numbers aren't there, then that means that the division, the math causes it to drop when there's probably numbers that aren't being reported. Because the next thing that's confusing to me is we have these lower numbers coming from public health, but we have the reports on the news, I don't know if they're true or not, that the prison has a bunch of new people in and hospitalizations, and we've got the construction companies that hit high numbers over the last 3 days, and yet we've had no reports other than NA down the line, which has kept the numbers. The other day it was like 99 or 100. The day before that it was a little bit more. But the numbers don't add up to the news reports, and they're not putting anything in except the ones that are reporting from public health. So that obviously drops the numbers down when you do the math.
So do we need to have a rolling average on the...
Well, no, the question I'm having, have we quit every testing except public health? The GMH has diagnostic labs, has the military, has Naval Regional Medical Center, all quit testing. I mean, we're told somebody came into the Naval Regional Medical Center the other day and died.
Yes.
Yet they had 0 or NA for the number tested. Well, what did they do? Take that test over to over to public health and bring it back and didn't test at the hospital? There's something that's not making sense. And maybe you could call public health and ask, why are we not getting the reports
from the other locations? Yeah. Well, I had not noticed that, but now that you bring it up, it's something I will be looking a little bit more critically at. Yeah, you're right. Today's JIC says 59 people reported new cases on November the 17th, with 776 samples that were taken that day. And 816 total. Then that would include, quote, probable cases that they've got. That's where the distinction is today, is 776 tests from DPHSS on the 16th. Here, wait a
But
second.
if you look at yesterday's JIC, it's the same thing. You look at the day before, it's the same thing.
I'll print those out. I'll take you're right. I'll take another look.
Since Friday.
Yeah, well, hold on, because now we start looking at different things. So the samples tested Monday, November 16th, 776 samples, netted new cases on the 17th of 59. And then we add that to the probable cases that showed up on Monday, November 16th, from who knows where. And that brings us to total samples tested, 815. So over between the 16th, 17th, and the report on the 18th. So this CAR score doesn't seem to be all that helpful.
Well, if you don't count the same way every day from all the labs, I mean, here's the question I have. As diagnostic labs, has the hospitals, both of them, or all three of them, have they all quit doing all testing, including diagnostic labs, and the only tests that have been done for 5 days has been public health, or are they just not adding the information? And if you leave numbers out, then that makes the score kind of meaningless if you're not going to use the same numbers from all the labs today that we used 4 days ago.
I don't know. I'm serious. I mean, I hate to end the conversation that way. I just don't know. It just feels like we've got these shifting sands. What are we holding the goalpost onto that says that we're going to have a nice Christmas or a decent Thanksgiving? What is that goalpost attached to? Because it seems to be moving around. And I thought we were in a pretty good position. You start looking at admissions at the hospital. I don't care about tests, and I don't care about the total number of tests since March the 17th. 6,200, by the way. Of that number, what have we got? 4,338 are not in active isolation, which means they've been dropped. There are 1,700 in active isolation, but not hospitalized. Hospitalization numbers are going down. We are down to 69 today, with 16 in the ICU and only 9 on ventilators. Those are the important numbers because that tells us how stressed our hospital system is. And it seems to me that we would want to base everything on that set of numbers, not the number of positive tests, because there's thousands of people that are testing positive and didn't ever have anything more than a body ache and sniffles.
And I agree with you. And some people didn't even have a body ache. And like you have gotten from Dr. Macris, probably a lot of people may have had this, never been tested, and they're not even in the numbers because they weren't sick enough to have indication. So this thing varies from absolutely zero symptoms, very mild symptoms, moderate symptoms, up to fatalities. And there's an entire spectrum on there. And the interesting question is, where do people fall on that spectrum? Personally, I don't want to find out at my age, so I'm trying to avoid it. But going back to the numbers, I'm concerned that we're not reporting all the numbers. And here's what the other one I'm afraid is going to happen. There's a whole bunch of backlogs of numbers to be reported. The tests may have been done over the last several days.
Yeah.
We get them all reported at once and do the number. It'll be a large number because we bring all the numbers in at one time.
Yeah, because we're sandbagging.
Instead of daily. And then this thing's going to spike way up again because we took several days' numbers and put them together.
This was a problem.
Health, what's happening?
Yeah, this is a problem that crept up early in the pandemic on the mainland. We were seeing that in some places that were reporting what looked like spikes until somebody went in and said, no, these numbers here are representative of these counties that hold on to their reports and then turn them in to the central authority. So it's like counting votes. You're either going to get it in real time or you're going to get a whole bucket full of them at the same time. The numbers shoot up and people freak out. In the olden days, we refer to that as sandbagging, and I think that there might be some of that unintentionally going on. But you're right. Then all of a sudden, we got 150 people test positive. Yeah, but it was over 4 or 5 days in 6 or 7 different locations.
Right, and so anyway, if you could at least check with public health, why is everything except theirs now NA? Because if we aren't getting the reports from the diagnostic labs,
yep.
There were pretty good large numbers coming from diagnostic labs. We had diagnostic labs, the 2 hospitals, and so. And also, how are we getting such large numbers from the prison and the construction companies over the last 4 or 5 days, but they haven't appeared apparently in the numbers of the total number of cases.
Like I couldn't tell you, and so you get lost in the source of the data, the disposition of the data, and that makes it easy for them, the authorities, to say, well, we're not satisfied with these numbers, and the core score is not coming down enough, blah 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 blah, and so we're going to put some modified restrictions on how many people can come and have turkey over at my house. Bob, I got to run. I'll talk to you pretty soon.
Thanks.
All right,
Have a
man.
good day.
It's 9:30 in the morning. There's, like I said, the guy's got PE at the end of his name, and I trust his mathematical guesses better than I trust most people's actual facts. And yes, that is a Star Trek quote. Just FYI. It's at 9:31 in the morning. 888-825-5888-TALK. Well, some interesting stuff here. And going back to, can I hammer the Democratic Party again?
Do it, man.
Really?
Do
Right?
it. I'm behind you all the way.
That's if I've got two guys in a race. I got two guys. I'm the high school track coach, right?
Yeah.
And I got my two guys, my two best guys. I'm the Father Duenas track coach who never win anything. I got my two best guys out there, and they're running against Harvest kids, and they're running against Joe Titano's kids over at Guam High, right?
Yeah.
And where's Derek Mindell? Where's his brother? His coach at, right? So I got two guys in the race, and one of my guys wins.
Yeah.
Actually wins the race.
Yes.
I would be happy for both of them, but very, very happy for the guy that won the race, that beats Joe kids, beat that Mandel kids, right? I'd be thrilled with that guy. Yep. I would hoist him upon my shoulders because I'm the coach. And this is what happened today. The Democratic Party of Guam, i.e. the coach, had a race. Two of their best guys were in that race. Only one of them can win, but it doesn't matter because they're both from the same team. I would have made a bigger deal about it.
I don't know, Coach. One of those guys is your favorite.
Well, I'm related to one of them. Like the other one, too. Trained, handpicked, all of that. I mean, my bias in this case is undeniable. My uncle, my mother's cousin, was in the race. And you've got Mike St. Nicholas, who is the incumbent, who I have in the past supported. And if Uncle Robert wasn't running in the race, would have supported even more in this run. Because I like Mike. He and I see eye to eye on many, many issues. Because I think we're both those kinds of fiscal conservatives, Republican or Democrat. And so I'm just delighted that my uncle took on the responsibilities of running the race. Sorry he didn't win, honestly. It's not the first time he's lost an election. I didn't want to point that out.
True.
Okay. Felix Camacho beat him twice.
Moving on.
For the governor. Thank you very much. Thank you. Just push me along. Don't get stuck in that trap, Ray. But it's one of my runners won, and I would be happy. And in this case, here it is. And the coaches of the team are like it almost sounds like they're disappointed that their guy won. Congratulations to Michael St. Nicholas. Here's your trophy. Bye. Lou, all right, so somebody writing me with their thoughts here. Lou is scrambling with fear that as titular head of the Democratic Party of Guam, she is unable to garner support amongst her supposed own. The Dems are clearly fragmented and not in Lou's favor. The Guam legislature's lean towards a Republican majority is imminent. Adelup is up for grabs in 2 years. Need I predict more? Let me unbox those statements. Lou is scrambling with fear that as titular head of the Democratic Party of Guam, she is unable to garner support amongst her supposed own. Okay, so just that one. Let me just riff on that statement there. I don't recall hearing anything out of Adelup about any Democrat in any race. Did you hear an endorsement from Lulian Guerrero or Joshua Tenorio about Biba Democrats? They didn't. I don't remember them coming out with support for. Now you could say if you want to that Uncle Robert was right up there with Lou. The inside support, whatever. I don't know. You could make that case, but it's not like I'm familiar with any overt and even whisper campaigns out of Adelup where she's going, okay, everybody, all Democrats, are you a donkey? Okay, all the donkeys vote for Uncle Robert. So I don't know about that. I don't remember any whispering coming out of Adelup about, okay, all you donkeys, you have to vote just straight Democrat. Straight Democrat, Umby. And if that was the case, maybe there wouldn't be as many Republicans that and the Bellic Bayans that got their way back into the legislature. Don't know. So I don't know about that. The Dems are clearly fragmented and not in Lou's favor. Okay, I will give you that. I will give you that. I think there are a lot of people that would follow guys like Mike Sinicolas and Therese Terlahi through the gates of hell, if not hold the doors open for them. Yeah? So I can't disagree with that, and I think there are more and more people that are lining up in that direction just because the other side feels so hinky. It feels like they're, I mean, are you getting it? Are you feeling like, oh, my God, there's deals? It just feels like, and it almost feels like they're not even hiding them anymore. They're just right out there in plain sight. If you hold your nose right and you are the right kind of person and support the insiders or related to the insiders at the legislature or at Adelup, then you're going to get some COVID-19 CARES Act love. Just feels like that. And I think people are beginning to notice a little bit more. The Guam legislature's lean towards a Republican majority is imminent. Okay, I will never say that for one of the reasons that was pointed out a little bit earlier is the Republicans and the Democrats have done a lousy job of recruiting new, bright, young names and giving them platforms to get their name recognition. Sandra Seau, example. I think the amount of love that she got from the Republicans was our wave is going to be Friday at 5 at 8, 10, and 16. I don't know that anybody else was helping groom them from inside the party. Michelle Armenta, right? Another bright, pretty face. Should have gotten a whole lot more attention from the party. And now I know that she had, quote, people helping. But what my sense was that they were trying to tamp her down and control a little bit of the political narrative that she was talking about. And I'm like, no, don't listen to those guys. You've got something to say, and I think it's attractive. I think it's compelling, and more people need to hear it. Maybe I should tone down. No, don't tone down. People want somebody to be mad. Adelup is up for grabs in 2 years. Need I predict more? All right, now I'll repeat something I said. This is going to end. This is the vaccine or herd immunity, or we're just going to run out of federal funds and have to deal with it ourselves, and there will be no choice but to open up the economy as wide as possible, full throttle. Right? We'll prime that pump. You get carb cleaner, and you spray the carb cleaner in the gas in the carburetor. And then you pull the cord on the lawnmower, and that almost always gets it started. That almost always gets it started. So we're going to have to figure out how we're going to carburetor cleaner the economy around here, get things banging on all 4 cylinders, 6 cylinders, 8 cylinders. I know we got a great machine. It's got 12 cylinders. But we're gonna figure out how to do that, and we will have to, out of necessity, get out of this, because there is no way that this government of Guam is going to be able to get supported on any of the federal dollars that may or may not be coming in 2021. It's what we've got here that we can spend right now. And that's what we're going to be eating on for most of next year. And frankly, I ain't all that confident about it. 9:39 in the morning. So, but let me finish the point. So as tough as things are going to be, we will get out of this, and people will forget, I think, having to eat outside of perfectly good restaurants with insides and air conditioning and a bathroom right over there. I think they're going to forget being pissed off about not being able to buy a pair of pants and underwear at Kmart after they were already in the building. I'm sorry, that's non-essential. I think people are going to forget the heavy-handed and capricious moves that have been made by the Department of Public Health, Harassment, and Secret Service. We get short memories around here. We will forget. And in fact, there will probably be some of us that go, wow, that actually wasn't. I wish we'd go back to those days where we're eating outside over at the place. That was nice. A breeze going through. We got dogs, cats, chickens, and all just kind of wandering around. It's so quaint. It was kind of nice, back in those days. We spent a lot of time together as families. Blah 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 blah. There will be romanticizing from people because the pain will be behind us. The pain will be behind us. And watch now as the Democratic Party of Guam starts moving us in that direction where, yeah, it was painful. We had to do it for everybody's safety, but golly, those were times. And wasn't it great spending as much time indoors with your family? And how much fun did you have teaching your kids with that online learning? Wasn't it one of those crazy times? Wasn't that awesome? Hey, you remember when you couldn't buy toilet paper on Guam? Wow. Good times, man. Good times. That just shows how resilient we are. They're going to use that word. They're using it now, right? They're using it now to convince us that we're capable of anything. We can endure any suffering, any hardship. And they will use it down the road to kind of tamp down those things. Well, yeah, it was a tough time, but the people of Guam are resilient, and we all came through it together. Bota. So you heard it here first. It will resonate a little bit now, and in what do you want to call it? 18 months. 18 months from now, about 685 days from today, you'll get that feeling. You'll hear that word resilient again and go, that's what Ray was talking about. It's 9:41 in the morning. A couple other things I want to take care of before we call it a Wednesday morning. Be right back.
Chili's has a dinner deal you can't miss. Enjoy a tasty appetizer, 2 bottomless Coca-Cola beverages, and 2 mouth-watering entrees, all for just $35. Treat yourself to entree options like our fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs, personal fajita with chicken, or the ultimate bacon burger. Chili's, 2 for $35. Available daily from 3 p.m. to closing for patio dining or takeout. Chili's is located on the 2nd floor of the Tuman Sands Plaza. Call 648-7377 to place your takeout order today. With Chili's, you can still savor the moment at home.
You've got a job to do. Having the right equipment for the job is critical, and East West Rental has the exact tools you need. Get it done faster with the right stuff, whether it's landscaping tools, concrete tools, lifts, trucks, lights, generators, trench boxes, welders, tents, tables, and chairs. They're here to help you tackle any project you're working on, big or small. Open Monday to Saturday, 7 to 5, closed Sundays. Find what you're looking for at East West Rental Center in Upper Tuman, or call 646-1463. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer staycation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,900 by calling Family Finance. Agana 475-4545, Upper Tuman at 647-5626, or in Dededo at 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. From the Facebook Live, couple of comments. Rick Tenorio says, recent car scores, how do those numbers match up to the numbers predicted to indicate herd immunity occurring? Just amusing on my part. So remember the other day we were talking, everybody said a few months ago, well, just make way for the vaccine. We'll harden our healthcare systems and we'll make way for the vaccine. That'll take care of it. So the vaccines are out. There's a couple of them, Pfizer and this German company, Genentech or whatever. Genentech says ours is 90% effective. Pfizer, though, requires what they're referring to now as a cold chain in order to keep it at way below sub-zero temperatures for as long as possible so it doesn't spoil. And that's not going to be practical to ship all the way out to Guam and the required time that we're going to need to be able to store it and dispense it to people. So they're now talking about the other one, what is it? What's the name of the company? Oh, gosh, Moderna, the mRNA 1273, which has a 94% effective rate. The 94%. And then the guy from the WHO, even confronted with these numbers, says, well, the vaccine's not the end of the pandemic, for heaven's sakes. No. You get blah, blah, blah. These guys, they love their power. They love it. Attention. Can't get enough of it. So yeah, okay, so Ray Gibson Show, right? Big ego, whatever you want to say about me. But at 10 o'clock in the morning when I'm done with this, I stop being this guy. I got all kinds of other stuff to take care of. Dad and just guy in the village. Guy like to go run, have fun with my friends, do all of that stuff. Just easy to walk away from the power of the First Amendment and the FCC license that's in my mouth. I don't keep it with me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you get these guys, man. The WHO, DPHSS, governor's office, man. They got power, worldly power. Somebody asked me yesterday who was still believing the story about the lockdown. going, can she do this? Yes. And I said, what about the Constitution? What about our civil rights? I said, these people can do anything until somebody complains. And nobody here complains. Nobody here complains. McNinch got it right. He got this part right. We're surrounded by cowards. That you'd be happy, bang, 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 bang on the keyboard when you're on the social media and Twitters and the parlors and all of this stuff. Okay, well, tell you what, there's a protest coming up. Cricket. Oh, I can't make that. Oh, man. Oh, that's a bad time. I'm not able to. Gee. Oh, there's all kinds of other things that you can do. Letter writing campaigns. That's all right. That's okay. Can you come out and be visible and carry us? Oh, can't do that. So I don't know. Who else is writing around here? Ismail was talking with Dr. McNinch, and Ismail says, this guy sucks. Voter turnout has nothing to do with the results. If more voters showed up, more people would have voted for Mike. It would still have been as lopsided a victory as it was. Now, do we think they really mean it when they congratulated Mike Nicholas? That's like when Lou told me good luck on my campaign. All right, Sandra, you're absolutely right. My read on this is dead on. That was the obligatory statement by the Democrat Party of Guam because I called them out on it. And they won't say it. They would never come out and say it. But somewhere this morning, somebody was listening to this program going, oh, crap, he's not going to let up. He is not going. And even after you've read it, I'm not going to let up. I'm not going to let up. I'm going to be laughing about this for weeks. Mike Nicholas won. And the Democratic Party of Guam, of which he is a member, couldn't muster up any more words than, congratulations, Mike F. Nicholas. That's it. Nothing about, we look forward to working with you together, or furtherance of Guam's goals in Washington, D.C. So proud of what you've been able to do on the committee. This is not a small committee. This is not a piece of junk committee. He's on the Finance Committee in the House, where all of the good things come from. And all they can muster is, congratulations, Mike F. Nicholas. God. What a bunch of weak, sissy girls.
Sounds mumbled.
What is that? Congratulations. Here's the cursory congratulatory note. Fine, I'll do it. But only because Ray Gibson won't stop talking. I'm never going to stop, because that's just funny to me. So let me finish up on... do I want to do Hope again? I'm going to do Hope again.
I'm down for Hope.
No, I'm going to do Hope again. If you were listening in the early part of the program, you've already heard this. But I'm going to do it again because I think hope is the most important thing that we need now. Is there a plan A for the government of Guam? Yes. Live off the federal dollars that may or may not come in 2021. Is there a plan A for the business community and the 30-some-odd thousand employees that have been put out as a result of COVID-19? And the answer to that question is no. There is no plan A. There is no plan B. The government is going to try its best to take care of the government and its people. Everybody else, you're on your own. DEH, don't expect help. That's how that came about on the heads. But anyway. So here's the hope. December the 31st is a Thursday. New Year's is on a Friday. So when we leave work on Thursday morning, we have all the rest of the night to party out and have a good time.
Yeah.
All day on the 1st to recover because it's a holiday. We got Saturday and Sunday on the other side of that. You feeling that? You feel good? How about for the kids? How about for the kids? Because this is something that I would have been excited about as a little kid. Christmas Eve is a Thursday. Christmas Day is a Friday.
Wow.
And so you've got all day Saturday and Sunday to play with all of your new toys. PS5.
That's sweet.
Isn't it?
And for dads to assemble everything.
Oh. My favorite part. My favorite part. Yeah. I know Tammy, Post Office Tammy, is listening to the broadcast this morning, and here's the other thing: is I almost guarantee that on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the days after, there will be post office guys running around making sure that all the deliveries get in on time, because that's just the kind of post office that we've got around here. So there's a couple of things to be hopeful for. And if that doesn't help, let me give you another set of numbers. In 720 days, it will be general election time on Guam again. And we'll be able to select or retain Mike Nicholas as congressman. We'll be able to keep or sign in some new people in the 37th Guam legislature, and maybe even get a new governor and lieutenant governor in the mix. And when does that start? When does the planning for all of that start? It's already started. It's already started. So ponder that in your heads. Now, there's another piece of good news that I'm going to give you, but this may also have you frowny face. I'm sorry if it does. So yesterday around this time, we were talking about the former Governor Gutierrez wrote an editorial piece in the PDN talking about how great Operation Christmas Drop is and how much really good positive attention it's bringing to Guam. There's another story came out today. In fact, I got this from Governor Gutierrez just a few minutes ago from CNN Travel. A lot of end-of-the-year traditions are a little different in 2020. The annual Where to Travel lists revealed by big hitter adventurers, National Geographic and Lonely Planet are no exception. Faced with a world where travel is often currently difficult, inadvisable, or impossible, the publishers' 2021 lists, both released on Tuesday, have gone for a more ruminative approach. While Lonely Planet's message this year on travel is a force for good with picks themed around diversity, sustainability, and community, National Geographic has chosen sustainability, family, nature, adventure, and culture as its 5 categories. Now, you can go to CNN Travel and read the majority of the rest of this, but what is a wonderful thing, according to former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez, is Guam made the list. Where's this? Over in the adventure category, there's Georgia's Svaneti, a stop on the epic Trans-Caucasian hiking trail. I'm going to send this to Bob Klitsky. He's going to love this. What the hell is Trans-Caucasian? Why does that matter? Am I not allowed to go because I'm half? I'm mixed? Is that what? Asia and Oceania are underrepresented on the list overall, but it recovers some ground in the culture history category with 3 destinations selected. The picks include Guam, a U.S. territory in the Pacific Ocean which played a strategic role in World War II. No, okay, so these guys already got it wrong. It's a strategic role in virtually every engagement that has taken place in the Pacific since 1899. But World War II for sure, Vietnam for sure. Gwangju, an ancient capital in South Korea that is so teeming with artifacts it is known as the Museum Without Walls. While the pandemic has brought journeys to a standstill, it has not quieted our curiosity. So the point that needs to be made here is Guam is on a list for a good thing again for travelers. So somebody's watching CNN, somebody's going to CNN Travel going, oh, man, I want to go there. It's Guam. It's history. We can jump off from there and check out where the great battles were fought up in Saipan. We can jump off from there and go to Midway. We can jump off from there and go to Palau, Peleliu, where there's incredible amount of fighting that took place down there. Bloody, bloody history. Man, wouldn't that be cool? And we've got, beautiful beaches and oceans and Challenger Deep all the way up to the top of Mount Lam Lam. All those great things going for us. But it's tricky to get tourists out here because we haven't yet figured out how to open things up. We haven't figured out how to open things up. Actually, that's not true. We have figured out how to open things up. We brought in some experts. We've got some really smart people like former Governor Gutierrez, Jerry Perez, and others that have got great plans in their head, but just can't seem to convince you-know-who. 9:55 in the morning. Last break, and we'll take care of these, and I'll tell you how we're going to kill the next 5 minutes.
Are you fed up with those long bank lines? Do you wish you had a bank who gave you faster service? Well, by enrolling in Bank Pacific's new mobile app, you don't even need to wait in line. But even if you do want to come down in person, we're more than happy to see your smiling face, as long as you have a mask. Because our service is so good, we don't believe in lines. Because for 66 years, we've been making sure you get the service you deserve. Because where others put branches, we place roots. And we're rooting for you. Member FDIC.
Half a day. This is Claire Manglona from Security Title with an important warning. Wire fraud is real, and home buyers and sellers are one of the biggest targets, even on Guam. When sending money by wire transfer, be sure to confirm the wire instructions by phone, not email. In this case, it's good to be suspicious and know who you're dealing with. Let the professionals at Security Title work with you to minimize loss due to wire fraud. We are here to help.
Okay, Google. Hey, Siri. Hi, Bixby.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
Open the Point app. Opening.
Live stream, on demand, swap stations. Check out the visual radio. Get the free app available on the App Store and Google Play, or go to thepoint.gu.
Let me just go over the straggler list here. We got Tommy Bernardo, been here all morning long. Ken Brown talking about eating Thanksgiving turkey outside. Brr, hate the idea. Michelle Diego Kitsuzu, Ops Martinez, Javier Randy Landis, and Rick Tenorio with restrictions in place, and PAC stating DPHSS 5 to 7 days behind notifications. Who's to say that the curbside meal you just picked up hasn't been compromised by the folks preparing or handling it before it gets to your car window? Rick, I'm willing to take that chance on any meal that I order from anywhere. At any time. You make the presumption that they've taken the necessary steps to protect themselves and the food that is going back to you. At least I do. Otherwise, I'd never eat out. I would never, ever eat out if that was the case, because I've seen too many movies where cooks and people spit in your food if you're mean to them, which is why I'm never mean to the people that work in restaurants ever, 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 ever.
Always be kind. Always.
Oh, my God. And if you're with somebody that is kind of shirty to the people that work at the restaurants, never eat off their plate, because I guarantee there's people in the back they spit on that. They say, oh, it's that guy. Yeah, he comes around. Yeah, he likes my special sauce. Never eat off his plate because it's contaminated. Mark Anthony's there. Huffa Rob, Hawk, good to have Raul Montes there. They should flip it. Ban people from staying home and making it mandatory to go to the bar and use CARES money to pay for our tabs. Raul, I like the way you're thinking there, buddy. I like the cut of your jib, as they say. Hoffa Jerome McDonald, my nephew from Guam, attended a retreat in Philadelphia. Then he's going to see his brother in Texas, and then he's coming to visit us on Thanksgiving. I told him he's got bubble wrap for him to wear. Jerome, you're out in California, right? Is that where you're at, bud? Come home. Your governor is just as screwed up as ours is. Did you see this guy?
Yeah.
I might even have some video of this. Let me just scooch down. And this is a perfect example. This is why Democrats make me crazy. You got the governor of the state of California, and he's all preaching all the time about social distancing and stay at home and wear a mask and all this other crap. Let me see if I can pull this up on the screen and get a little bit of a story with some video. And now he's screwed up. He's screwed up, and now he's going, well, I was only human. Shut up. You can't even abide by your own rules. What's the guy got to say about that? Let's see if we got some audio.
I was asked to go to a friend's.
I can hear a little bit of it.
My wife and I, a friend that I've known for almost 20 years, and a friend that, put a lot.
I'm not going to be able to play it, but anyway, so he's telling the story about how he went to a party and it's a friend, they've known it for 30 years or something ridiculous like that, and then he got in there and he realized it was a much bigger gathering than it should have been, and he sat down, and here's the line: I should have stood up. I should have stood up and got in my car and left, but I didn't. I'm only human. So, the state of California is about ready to get into one of these massive shutdown situations, but as usual, the people that are in charge get to live by their own rules. Do as I say, not as I do. Welcome to California. Welcome to the way Democrats will run things, have run things. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Hey, look, I gotta go. Biba Mike Sinicholas, Biba Robert Underwood, and let's hear it for reuniting the Democratic Party of Guam. And it ain't going to happen, so it's going to give me something to talk about for the next 2 years. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. Radio stations, KUSG. Did you tell that guy to call back tomorrow early?
Jack.
Oh, it's Jack. Oh,
yeah, he'll try tomorrow.
There's no way I could have fit him inside. All right, so radio stations, KUSG Agana. Thanks, everybody, for sticking around and love all your comments. And I'm going to try to read them all before the end of the day. You have a fantastic Wednesday. Tomorrow, it's Thursday. And even though Thursday is not the most special thing in the world, it does bridge between here and Friday. No frowny faces. Be looking forward to that. 10 o'clock, KUSG Agana. This is The Point.
Cracking down. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Another state putting coronavirus restrictions back in place as cases of the virus continue to rise. Maryland is going back to limiting business capacities to 50%, and bars and restaurants have to close at 10 p.m. starting Friday.
If we falter now, and if we fail to take this seriously, we will look just like all those other states.
Governor Larry Hogan, who also says the state will set aside about $70 million in federal aid to deal with the virus, including $20 million for PPE. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine is putting a 3-week retail business curfew